Okay, and the hangout is on air. Let me see real quick. Y'all know I'm Jennifer, Lady Wolverton. Please just call me Jen, please, Lord. And
I can think
wait,
of
let me
it.
find my chat. Sorry, y'all. And all right, there we go. Hey, Elamar. Hey, Matt. Oh, hey, Amanda. Hey, Bran. Hey, dog. Thank y'all for coming on by. Hey, Peter. Tonight we're doing Clash of Kings prologue. Hey, Nancy T. It's really, really long. It's like an hour long, even an audiobook. So, hey, Cammie. So we're going to try to get through this. I have a lot of notes, but I'm just going to do the synopsis from the wiki tonight.
That's me, sorry. Shit. Let me turn the Kindle down. Okay.
Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, I think we're all just
Right,
waiting on.
everybody. I forgot. Everybody, introduce yourself. Go Just go down the line.
I don't know why you always pick me first.
Hey guys, you're right next to me.
Oh, okay. That's why then. All right. That's my fault for joining the call first, right? Hey guys, I'm Revengeance, and I'm here. I'm over on my channel. I'm on pretty much all the social medias. I'm around. Just hit me up anywhere, and yeah, you'll see me anywhere, guys. What's up? Let's do a Clash of Kings. It's time for some good shit. So let's just do it.
Let's do this. Moni G.
Hello, y'all. Welcome to our second book in the my bad. Our second book in this mad adventure known as The Song of Ice and Fire. It's gonna be freaking awesome. So rock on, Shaka Khan. Looking forward to it. Next.
Liz. Okay, we'll come back to Liz. Kerri.
You're on mute, Liz.
Hey, Kerri, I'm back from the dead. Just been sick, yeah, and have missed you guys and appreciate everybody that was checking in on me and stuff. That really means a lot. I'm on here. Like Ree said, on other chats and streams. Been saying I'm gonna get a channel going. Still haven't done it yet, but I mean I have one, but there's no uploaded videos. So, and I'm excited as hell to be starting a new book. And thank you, Jennifer.
No, thank you. And I'm glad you're feeling better. I'm glad you're here this week. And
yeah, me too. I missed y'all last week. Just 1 week away. I was like, but okay.
Okay,
that's my intro.
Girl. You're on mute now, hun.
Me?
No, Liz.
Oh.
Liz? Okay, maybe she stepped away for a minute. Bran, you there?
I am here. I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me again, Jen. This was a really good prologue. There was a lot of good information here. It's been a long week, you guys, so bear with me.
Yeah, me too.
All right, Liz, we're going to come back to you now, girl.
Hey, I couldn't unmute myself. I'm gonna after I introduce myself, I'm gonna jump off and get on my iPad because I actually think one of the problems that's been going on is my computer, not my internet, and because I'm in a different place with like better internet, and so I was having problems yesterday with a video call, a work call. So, anyways, I'm excited to talk about Clash of Kings. And you can find me on the internet. I'm on Quora asking and answering a lot of Game of Thrones questions right now, especially if you want to talk about the trailer, if you want to get into some arguments with me.
Oh my God. I don't even step into it. I get asked a lot. People ask me to answer questions, and sometimes I get in depth with it, but sometimes I make it short and sweet. And it just depends on if I want to answer the question or not. I hate speculative questions. Like, what if Law would have lost the battle?
And I'm on Quora.
I hate those. I don't even touch those. Go ahead, Liz. Well, a bunch of Liz's work is in the description. She actually has fanfic, and she's also on Tumblr and Reddit, I believe, and in Quora, like she said, and she has some good links in the description.
Castalia Reed on Twitter.
Right. Castalia Reed on Twitter.
Right. Yeah.
Liz, you unfrozen?
Yeah.
Okie doke. Well, I'm going to start with the synopsis, and if you want to pop off and jump on. Also, what I do is I make sure every Kindle I have, my TV, which is a smart TV, every device that I'm not using, I make sure that that's turned off as well.
Oh, I'm using my Kindle for the chat.
Okay. Well, right. I use my phone and my computer, but I make sure my other two Kindles, my TV, anything else that's on internet is turned off. All righty. I'm just going to go ahead with the synopsis. Maester Crescent watches from his balcony as the red comet spreads across the dawn over Dragonstone.
Oh my God.
Okie doke. Like a wound in the sky, the feeble 80-year-old chides himself for considering it an omen. Yet he has never seen a comet so bright nor of that color. It is even visible during the day now.
Color.
At the same time, hot steam has begun to issue from vents beneath the Dragonmont volcano. And a white raven has arrived from the citadel, declaring the end of the longest summer in living memory. 10 years, 2 turns, and 16 days. And I believe it's talking 2 turns of their moon, I believe. Ree, you'll have to double check on that for me, if you can.
On the time that it said?
Yeah, I think it means the 10 years and 2 turns. I think it means 2 turns of their moon.
Yeah, it's like 2 months.
And 16 days.
Yeah.
Too many omens to deny. It is enough to make any man believe in omens, but the old maester cannot decide what they might mean. Crescent's eventual successor, Maester Pylos, interrupts his thoughts with word that Princess Shireen wishes to see the White Raven. The title princess is a new appellation for the young girl now that her father, Stannis Baratheon, is a king. Crescent bids Pylos to show her in. The shy princess enters, followed by her shuffling fool Patchface, who wears a mock helm made from a bucket with antlers and cowbells. Perhaps once Patchface was a good fool, but now he has lost his wits and is incoherent as often as not. Only Shireen laughs at his antics or cares about him at all. Shireen's face is unattractive, even discounting the disfigurement from a bout of grayscale that nearly claimed her life as an infant. Shireen asks to see the White Raven, and the Maester will not deny her, since she has been denied too much during her young life of almost 10 years. She is the saddest child the Maester has ever known, and he considers her another mark of his failures. While Pylos goes to fetch the White Raven, Crescent thinks how the solemn 25-year-old Pylos is not a good match for Dragonstone because grim places need lightning. However, a Maester does not choose his post, and Crescent recalls coming to Dragonstone himself 12 years ago with his lord, though he never liked it here and never considered it home. Of late, when he wakes from restless nightmares of the Red Woman, Crescent often does not know where he is. Crescent asks Shireen why she is up so early. The girl explains that she had nightmares of dragons coming to eat her. The Maester remembers that she has always had nightmares, thinking of the many dragon-inspired statues and buildings of Dragonstone. Crescent attempts to comfort her by explaining that Dragonstone was once the westernmost outpost of an ancient freehold of Valyria. The dragon towers were created to make the fortress seem more formidable. He explains that the Valyrians had long forgotten ways of shaping stone and used them to make the thousands of stone dragons on the island. Shireen is unconvinced, telling him that the Red Woman says the thing in the sky is dragon's breath. Crescent explains that it is only a comet and that it will soon be gone. Shireen states that her mother says the White Raven means it is not any summer any longer, and the Maester confirms that it is true. He then goes on to tell her about the White Ravens and how the Citadel has determined that summer is over. Crescent says it is hoped that there will be a warm autumn with bountiful harvest. He knows that a long summer is said to bring a long winter, but does not want to frighten the child. When she asks if it will snow, the maester says it will, but then he prays it will not be for years yet. Then Paulos returns with the white raven, and the maester introduces the raven to Shireen. Shireen is delighted to learn that it can speak. Patchface begins to sing, "The shadows come to dance, my lord, dance, my lord, dance, my lord," hopping from one foot to the other. "The shadows come to stay, my lord, stay, my lord, stay, my lord." He jerks his head with each word, and his bells make a clangor. Shireen declares that Patchface has been singing that song often lately, and it scares her. She asks the maester to make him stop, and Crescent thinks back to how old Lord Stephen Baratheon found the fool in Volantis while seeking a wife for Rhaegar Targaryen. Upon their journey within sight of home, their ship sank, killing everyone aboard. Patchface was washed up on the shore 3 days later, naked, cold, and clammy. They took him for dead, but then he coughed up water and survived, albeit broken in mind and body, hardly capable of speech, let alone wit. Many suggested that it would have been kindest for Crescent to let the mad boy die, but he refused, and now he wonders at that decision. Crescent assures Shireen that Patchface is just rambling and does not comprehend anything of what he says. Paulos, who went to fetch Crescent's breakfast, returns to inform him that Sir Davos Seaworth returned during the night and has been with Stannis most of the night. Crescent complains that he should have been notified, as it is his duty to advise the king. Asking pardons of Shireen, the old man has Paulos help him hobble with his bad hips to the stone drum, the main keep of Dragonstone. He passes windows from which he can see 3,000 men in the camp outside the wall and the anchorage filled with ships, since no ship has come within sight of Dragonstone has been allowed to leave. Once inside the stone drum, Crescent leaves Paulos, stating he wants to see Stannis alone. And as he ascends the stairs, he regrets leaving Paulos. He meets Sir Davos coming down the stairs. Davos reveals that his mission as an envoy to the Stormlands has been a failure. It is as Crescent warned. The lords sworn to Storm's End have no love for Stannis and will not support his claim. Instead, they have joined with the lords of the Reach in supporting Stannis' younger brother, Renly. News of Renly claiming the crown leads Crescent to worry for the youngest Baratheon. When Sir Davos mentions that Renly has instituted a new Kingsguard, Crescent recalls that Renly was always fond of games and rich, bright fabrics as a child. "Look at me, I'm a dragon. And look at me, I'm a wizard," the boy was always shouting. Crescent sees Renly's bid to be king as no more than another game. "Look at me, I am a king." Crescent asked Davos if he could bring Stannis any hope, but Davos insists that the only hope he could bring would have been the false swords. That leads Crescent to recall Sir Davos was once a notorious smuggler who sailed a black ship past a red wine blockade in the dead of night to deliver onions and saltfish to Stannis' starving garrison during the siege of Storm's End. It allowed them to survive until Lord Eddard Stark could lift the siege. Stannis knighted Davos for his deed. However, as punishment for his past misdeeds, Stannis himself cut short all of the fingers on Davos' left hand, save the thumb. Davos had insisted that Stannis do the cutting. Crescent realizes that a man like that would give no false hope to Stannis. Sir Davos declares that if Stannis marches on King's Landing now, as is his intent, with so small an army, it will only be to die. Crescent responds that Davos has done all he can, and now it is his turn. Crescent finds Stannis in the top of the keep, looking down at the painted table, which is shaped as a detailed map of the continent of Westeros. Stannis greets him with the statement that he knew Crescent would come even without a summons. He said that Crescent is now old and needs his sleep, and that he would have learned what Davos knew on his own anyway. Talk between the Maester and King quickly turns into a rant by Stannis about how the Baratheon birthright of Storm's End, the Stormlands, and its income should have passed to him rather than Renly when their brother Robert assumed the Iron Throne. Stannis did not want Dragonstone, but his brother commanded it. He occupied it and built his brother's fleets. It is an old grievance made new by the fact that Dragonstone, ancient and strong though it is, commands the allegiance of only a handful of lesser lords whose Stony Island holdings are too thinly occupied to supply the men that Stannis needs to seize his rightful throne. Crescent explains that Robert did an injustice, but gave his lordship Dragonstone because a man's strength was needed to hold that keep and not a boy's. And also, Dragonstone is the seat of the heir. And I don't think that Robert meant it as an insult. I really don't. I think he just didn't think that it was going to be that big of a deal that it was. And that's one of Robert's main flaws, is he doesn't see how he affects other people, you know. Then he asks about the advice Renly gets from his maester. But Crescent doubts that Renly would seek counsel from that quarter anyway. Renly is bold and heedless, much like Robert. When Stannis asks what he is to tell a few anxious bannermen he does command, Maester Crescent reminds him that House Lannister is his true enemy and suggests that he join with Renly to defeat them. Stannis flatly refuses. Crescent yields immediately and suggests a partnership with the new king in the north, Robb Stark, who commands all the power of Winterfell and Riverrun. Stannis again refuses, claiming that Robert is a green boy and another false king that seeks to steal half of his kingdom. Crescent suggests that half of a realm is better than none, and Robb may even submit in exchange for helping to avenge his father. But Stannis remains adamant, slights he received at the hand of his brother Robert. Why should I avenge Eddard Stark? The man was nothing to me. Oh, Robert loved him, to be sure. Loved him as a brother. How often did I hear that? I was his brother, not Ned Stark, but you would never have known by the way he treated me. I held Storm's End for him, watching good men starve while Mace Tyrell and Paxter Redwine feasted within sight of my walls. Did Robert thank me? No, he thanked Stark for lifting the siege when we were down to rats and radishes. I built a fleet at Robert's command, took Dragonstone in his name. Did he ever take my hand and say, well done, brother? Whatever should I do without you? No. He blamed me for letting William Darry steal away Viserys and the babe. As if I could have stopped it. I sat on his council for 15 years helping Jon Arryn rule his realm while Robert drank and whored. But when Jon died, did my brother hand me his hand? No. He went galloping off to his dear friend, Ned Stark, and offered him the honor. And small good it did either of them. Crescent then proposes a marriage pact between Shireen and young Robert Arryn. Stannis dismisses the possibility, bringing the weak and sickly Robert to Dragonstone as planned before Lord Arryn's death, because Lysa Arryn is paranoid and hides him in the Eyrie. So we learn right here that, for all intents and purposes, Robert Arryn was supposed to be fostered at Dragonstone. Also, that a match had been proposed between Shireen and Lord Arryn. Possibly, I get the impression because both Stannis Baratheon and Lord Arryn were freaking, they knew what time it was. And with Shireen's disfigurement and Robin the way he is, I thought it would be a good match. And actually, it really is. They're, on about the same hierarchy of power or whatever. And then Crescent urges him to go ahead and, why don't you send Shireen over there to the Vale, and still try to suggest that match. And again, just, you get a lot of support by marriage. And that's what we're seeing here. Then Stannis' wife, Queen Selyse, arrives to argue that Stannis should not have to beg or bargain for help. They all owe their allegiance to him as the true king. Queen Selyse has been entirely converted to the worship of the foreign god R'hllor by the Red Priestess Melisandre of Ashai. Stannis tells her he needs swords and asks whether she has an army. She replies that House Florent can provide an army, but Stannis retorts that they can only provide 2,000 men and are too close to Highgarden. The queen proclaims that the comet is an omen from the Lord of Light. He will aid Stannis in his conquest. Stannis, who does not share his wife's newfound faith, questions how many men the Red God will deliver him. Selyse insists that R'hllor will provide all the power of Highgarden and Storm's End. Stannis reminds her that those men now support Renly. Selyse agrees, but suggests that if Renly should die, his army would join Stannis. Then she notes that Melisandre has looked into the flames and seen Renly dead. Crescent is horrified by the notion and pleads that fratricide is evil. Stannis declares that he has heard Crescent's advice and will now hear hers, and sends the aged maester away. By the time Crescent joins Pylos at the bottom of the steps. He can hardly stand erect and needs to be helped back to his rooms. There, Creston contemplates his options. He raised Robert, Stannis, and Renly after their father died and cannot watch one kill the other. He knows that everything Queen Selyse said has been preached to her by Melisandre, the Red Priestess, and she must be silenced before she can convert King Stannis to her evil schemes and spread her mad religion beyond Dragonstone. Therefore, Creston goes to a small workroom under the rookery stair and retrieves a small vial of purple crystals, a poison known in Westeros as the Strangler. Dissolved in wine, one of the small crystals caused the victim's throat muscles to constrict more tightly than any fist, making it impossible for the victim to breathe. Creston plans to put one in Lady Melisandre's drink at the feast Stannis is holding for his bannermen tonight. He knows it is a dreadful thing he is planning, but surely the gods will forgive him. As he lays down for a nap, Creston wonders if the comet is his foreboding murder. Hours later, Creston wakes to discover he has overslept and is late for the feast. He calls for Pylos, who should have awoken him, but Pylos does not come, so he has to shout for the servants. As he crosses the long gallery, the comet outside the window looks malevolent to him, but he thinks he should not fear. When he enters the great hall, he finds Stannis and his bannermen have begun without him. As Creston crosses the room, Patchface the Fool lurches into him while singing the same song from the morning, and they both fall to the floor face to face. With Creston, the Fool says, "Under the sea, you fall up." I know. Creston is too feeble to rise on his own, but fortunately, strong hands lift him to his feet. When he turns to thank the knight he believes has helped him, he comes face to face with Lady Melisandre, herself clothed in red silk with red eyes. The Red Priestess mockingly advises him to mind his steps, intoning her religion's prayer, for the night is dark and full of terrors. Creston insists that only children fear the dark. Melisandre gives him a riddle, a clever fool and a foolish wise man, and places Patchface's ridiculous antlered helm upon Creston's head, telling him, "A crown to match your chain, Lord Maester." All around him, Creston hears laughter. He removes the crown, fighting his rage. He tells her he needs no crown, but truth, to which Melisandre replies that some truths are not taught in Old Town. When he reaches the high table, Creston sees Stannis has given his accustomed seat to Pylos. When he questioned why he did not wake him, Pylos blushes and states he was told to let Creston rest and that Creston was not needed here. Creston looks at the gaudy knights and captains, aged and sour Lord Adrian Celtigar, handsome Lord Munford Valerian, plump 14-year-old Lord Durham Bar Emmon, homely Sir Alex Florent, pious Lord Gunser Sunglass, and Lycene Captain Salador San. Only Sir Davos Seaworth is simply dressed. Melisandre sits to Stannis' right in the place of high honor. Of all the lords, only Davos will meet his gaze, with pity in his eyes. Stannis declares that Pylos will now assume all of Creston's duties, insisting that Creston is too ill and confused to be of use to him any longer. Creston cannot believe it is Stannis' voice that states this. Creston is heartbroken by the rejection, remembering how he was the one that loved Stannis as a boy, perhaps because Stannis was the one who was unloved. Creston accepts and meekly pleads for some place at the table, though he still feels he belongs at Stannis' side. Of all the assembled lords, only Sir Davos offers him a seat. As Patchface continues to caper about, Sir Davos comments that they wear motley since they are about fool's business. Melisandre has seen victory in her flames, and so Stannis plans to press his claim no matter the numbers. Creston urges Stannis a final time to ally himself with Robb Stark or Lysa Arryn, but Queen Selyse insists that R'hllor is the only ally Stannis needs. Creston replies that gods make uncertain allies, and here R'hllor has no power. Melisandre tells him that if he believes that, he should put Patchface's crown back on, and Queen Selyse commands thus. Stannis grudgingly orders the Fool to give the crown to Creston. After the Fool places the crown on Creston's head, Selyse suggests that Creston sing. Stannis refuses and declares that Creston has served him well. Suddenly, Creston sees the opportunity to poison Melisandre. He is close to Davos' cup, which he takes and slips a crystal into. He is sure only Davos notices. Crescent proposes to Melisandre that they share a cup of wine to toast her god's power. She agrees. Davos tries to stop him, but Crescent insists he is doing what he must for the sake of the realm and his lord's soul. Before they drink, Melisandre gives him the opportunity to back out, but Crescent refuses. Melisandre drinks most of the cup, leaving only a small amount for Crescent. Crescent pushes away his fear and drinks as well. The ruby at Melisandre's throat glows as she insists that her god, Rolla, does have power. Crescent tries to reply, but his throat has already begun to constrict. Unaffected by the poison, Melisandre looks on with pity as Crescent collapses and dies. Okay, and as we always talk about here on Book Club, that is actually one of the episodes. Yeah, that was long. Like, I mean, like shit. And that's why I said just going through making notes, it was even longer. But
I know.
We always go over this when we begin. And let me just say this right now. This is a very, very good represented episode as far as from book to television. The whole prologue is we get so much. I want to open the discussion up with the two oldest sons. So that would have been Robert and Stannis, actually watched their parents drown from their ship, the Windblown, with like 100 oarsmen, servants, the whole nine.
Hey, Jen, before you get to that part, can I say something?
Go ahead.
Okay, because I've been waiting like for real for like over a book. No joke. I've been waiting for.
Go ahead. Okay, I'm gonna mute myself. You start us off, then, Marie. Go ahead.
I've been waiting to get to this part for a very long time, and it's talk about when Maester Crescent's right there, and he's on his little balcony, and he's sitting there with his stone gargoyles, and it's an army of wyverns and hellhounds, 12 foot tall, and he's talking about the whole castle being an army of them. So we have an army of stone dragons and dire wolves at Dragonstone, and we have an army of Winter Stark Kings at Winterfell. I'm just saying. I just wanted to bring that up. And
go ahead.
Oh, and the other thing I wanted to bring up too was the Comet's Tale. That was the first time that it was mentioned. Other in this book is right then at the very beginning. He's talking about when he sees it, and he's talking to him out there, and he's mentioning the prophecy then, and he's talking to him.
And let's also bring up how he was saying, at first when he came to Dragonstone many years ago, he was a little bit intimidated and frightened by those statues. But that over the years they have become more like old friends.
Right.
I wanted to mention this last week, and I put it in the chat, but it was probably too early. And I'm just kind of bringing up Crescent and his reaction to this comet because it's one like he's never seen. But do you guys, and I know this is kind of bringing back the last chapter of Game of Thrones, but with the comet, do y'all think the comet made the magic stronger in the world or the hatching of the dragons?
I think that the comet was just like a sign of that the dragons have come back.
Okay.
I really believe that is the explanation for the comet as well, too.
Well, I think because there's different factors in the universe and stuff that affect different things, like magnetic fields change and polar and like and shit like that. Just how everything in the universe is affected by everything else. I mean, literally, the butterfly effect, that sort of thing. So, no, I do think that.
I mean, I agree. Yeah, I agree. It's probably both.
So, and plus how it started out, just the description of it. When I first read this, I was actually pregnant with my daughter. And it reminded me of a womb and the comet and just all of it. So, it just, like the opening, it made me think of a birth on Dragonstone is what it made me think of, but not with Stannis. I didn't Stannis at all.
No, I don't know what Melisandre's, if she's wrong or she's
She's
using
wrong.
him, or if she, I mean, he doesn't fit the prophecy at all.
No, I think it has
all.
to do with Davos on that. On Dragonstone, I think Davos has something to do with it. As far as or whatever. He's got something to play.
You faded out for just a minute, Ray.
Yeah.
I think Davos has something to do with it, whether he's a tool or whatever. It's Davos that's on Dragonstone that has a part to play. Like Melisandre has a part to play, Davos has a part to play. She misreads Stannis, you know, so that's who it is on Dragonstone that's important. It's Davos.
Davos, yeah.
Right. Not Stannis.
I'm just, yeah. Just,
Everybody,
I get what you're saying.
And everything she does to say that Stannis is, you know, the fake sword and the this and the that. And,
it's important. It's just one person that she's by at the time, you know. And you know what? There's a lot of interference here too through this whole.
You guys, and we got a lot of people. We got a lot of people on tonight, and that always seems to affect a lot. I mean, 6 is the max unless you double up some kind of way in which I don't know how to do, but there is a way to do it.
Are you talking about piggybacking?
No, y'all.
I'm just asking. You know what? Okay, I just have to say right now.
Maybe.
Wow. I remember. Oops. Am I muted? No.
No, go ahead.
All right. Yeah. I was reminded, like, I'd have fits about rereads of John, right? Because he's like little emo whiny boy. But wow, I can't stand Stannis.
Me either, Moni.
And it
Thank
bums me
you.
out when I hear
all those Stannis the Manus people. I know.
love him so much, and I'm like, he is such a.
I was gonna write that in the chat when she was reading. I do not like Stannis at all.
No, he's not kind, and just even that the very last thing that he did to his maester, who brought him up, who was like a daddy to him, like leave that crown with the bells on. What the
F? This really does piss you off, but I think this is meant to show us how crazy he's been made by Melisandre, because this is somebody who literally has.
Well, she doesn't seem to have him yet. She's got Selyse. Totally.
Yeah, but here, therein lies also, but it also talks about things past, and he reflects, Maester Crescent reflects on, when he was a kid, and Robert always went first.
Yeah, Stacey says he's a broody asshole. I said he sure is, Stacey.
And then when he's bitching to him about, what about me? Like, I should have had the Storm's End, and I should have. What about me? And did he thank me for holding this? No, he just yelled at me. But he was like, oh, God. I mean, everybody knows Robert's a blowhard. You still went and sat on his council. Like, what, were you waiting for him to die? I mean, like, dude.
I like Stannis, though. You know what I like about Stannis? Stannis is very much black and white. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
in a world of me off about
him. Right. But he's very black and white as far as justice and things are concerned.
Oh yeah. That was the other part. The very because for some reason I had in my head like maybe he just took one chop. No. He got a butcher's cleaver. He chopped off every single freaking digit at the knuckle. So no, it was 4 swipes, man. No, this guy is an asshole.
Ned Stark would give it to him. That
I agree, Moni.
He did it himself.
What? He did what himself?
So
well,
what?
yeah, big deal.
Fingers himself.
That doesn't make it right. I mean, this guy just came in and saved your damn life. This guy just came in and saved your damn life. But
excuse me for a minute. Well, that's how most people would feel, but. You know, even Davos sees the logic in dispensing the.
If I had been Davos, I wouldn't have even gone and helped him. Shit, if I'd known that was gonna happen.
Well, and the other part too is just like this also cements for me too. It's just like and you'll hear the Stannis the Manus lovers and okay, bring the hate, friends. Go ahead.
I know. I'm waiting.
You know,
I'm waiting too.
So. What?
Stannis is a total dick. You're right, Matt.
Yeah.
He's just not kind. Like, I can't stand. Anyways, it's just like okay, because I always would say, the people who were super Stannis fans couldn't stand Stannis on the show. And I was just like, wow, I actually like Stannis on the show a little bit better than I like Stannis in the book. So
Right.
I was like,
I agree.
My mom.
So
loves to
anyways,
say
this is like,
fewer
okay,
all the
case
time.
closed. In my book, Stannis is a huge dick. And yeah, I don't think he is like bought into the Red Lord until they start talking about killing his brother. Then he's like, okay, well, I'll see her counsel too. All right, woman. Okay, woman.
Or anything like that? Like he was influenced by anything?
You know what? If he is so hard-nosed and black and white, he doesn't seem okay. There, I will say, he doesn't seem wishy-washy of character. So, like, to me, I've always thought of like people who could be taken like that, possessed, if you will, in a bad place or weak of spirit. Like,
right?
Yeah, I don't see Stannis as that. I see him as like, yeah, fuck it. My brother is more popular than me.
Matt,
and you know what?
Stannis is just a total dick.
Yeah,
your boy Matt says
I'm
Stannis is a total dick.
I'm probably having a senior moment, but the way he talks about Ned and being jealous of Ned and why should I care what happens to him? So does he know yet? And that's why he's going to fight? Yeah. And he's still saying that about Ned.
Yeah, that's what Kristen even said. Even Maester Crescent.
Asshole.
Even Maester Crescent's inner dialogue says that the problem with Stannis is that he won't let go of old hurts.
Yeah. Is Stannis? Yeah. Oh, gee whiz, I'm dealing with a grudge person right now in my life, and you know what? I wish I could fuck him up the ass. Sorry, YouTube. You can
let it go.
Out.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to say it, but Stannis and Cersei Lannister are the ones in the competition for who can hold a grudge the best. Jesus.
I want to say one more thing, and then I want to hear what Bran has to say.
Yeah, Bran, what you got to say about it?
But Melisandre has like as many titles as Daenerys. She's when they were talking about Melisandre seeing Renly dead in the flames. Melisandre of Ashai, sorceress, shadowbinder, and priestess to Rolor, Lord of Light, Heart of Fire, God of Flame and Shadow. It just cried. I don't know. That's what made me. It just got me on Daenerys with all these. And I think it was Crescent that was in thinking this in his head. Because it's when Selyse walks in and he doesn't hear her, and then here comes Melisandre behind her.
Stannis really got on my nerves in this chapter. I like Stannis in the book mostly, but he really got on my nerves in this chapter. He was a big wine bag. And whenever the Targaryens were enrolled, whoever was the heir to the Iron Throne, didn't they typically like live on Dragonstone?
Yes, exactly. The Dragonstone is okay, you know, when you are the Prince of Wales, you are the heir to the English throne. When you are the Prince of Dragonstone, you are the heir to the Kingdom of Westeros.
So he shouldn't have been so uptight about getting Dragonstone. He should have been more pleased about it. I would have been.
He didn't see it that way.
Dragonstone.
Yeah. Well, I think one reason is he doesn't get as many taxes and income and stuff. Yeah, from the land and all that stuff.
It's also like a very, it's not Storm's End also was the seat of the Baratheons and a very comfortable, the way I've read it, comfortable, nice castle, so compared to Dragonstone, that's wet and damp, and it's also, he's looking at it like, I got the shitty castle. I really think that's how he feels, but I really think in Robert's mind it's because he's his heir, aside from, at the time when he seated him there to keep it. And as Mr. Crayson also says, at the time Renly was a child.
Oh, I also think it was to stick it to him. I have no doubt in my mind.
Oh yeah, me
Robert
too.
loved, he had pleasure sticking it to Stannis just because Stannis was such a prick about it. Like,
I wrote in the comment, he's like got middle child syndrome, but he has had some kind of shitty stuff done to him the way Robert treated him. But I mean, that's what happened. Just,
Yeah, it is. It's a tragedy in the middle child.
Rhea and I are making fun of fucking Celeste in the chat. Just, go.
She certainly is.
Well, wait,
Certainly is a joy killer, that's for sure.
I think about her.
But also, so
she plucks that. She makes sure that mustache is plucked, man.
Every day.
Oh my God, y'all, that's funny. Not only does it say she plucks it every single day.
Yeah.
If she plucks it that much, it should be better. Like it should be better.
It should be gone.
Glowing or whatever.
She might just be extra.
Like my aunt's eyebrows when she plucked them.
Right. That's why I don't have that many eyebrows. The night. What the hell?
Oh man.
If that worked, then guys would be plucking their hair right when they were losing it. Like it's just get some nair. Good one.
It's the least some nair.
That's hilarious.
I would like that.
So she's a very tall woman, also, right? Because Stannis.
That's what it says.
She was taller than most. No, I think that was Melisandre that was taller than most.
Most nights.
She's taller.
She's as tall as Stannis.
Tall as Stannis.
I wanted to talk about
Bram, what are you saying, hon?
I said I wanted to talk about like how tall Melisandre was.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to talk about her ruby too.
Hey, Laura.
All her red. It said red.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like when the times when it flashes. When we got Patch Face.
And you know something
That's
too.
A new character for us.
Yeah, and even with her with the poison too, I thought I wondered if all the poison settled in the bottom of the cup. If that's why she saved it till the very end.
But her ruby shimmers during that point, so that makes me think of some kind of shadow binding going on or something. I don't know.
I feel like she's full of tricks. Like she just
She tells us
maybe the poison and she knows how long it takes to dilute.
Yeah.
So like it wasn't fully diluted. I don't know.
Possibly.
I think it went down and settled, and it wasn't all the way in it to mess with her bad enough.
No, I think it dissolves pretty quickly and it's pretty potent because Joffrey did a really cool thing of wine. I honestly think, but think about it, guys.
I think he got more of it than she did. Is my point.
I think
maybe, but it still should have affected her.
No, I think that it dissolves quickly.
Yeah.
But what I think is, remember, she's glamored. She has some spell on her. She's like
That's
ancient
what I'm
old.
saying.
We know that as a fact.
And when she drank it, the ruby shimmered.
The Fearless Mermaid. Hey, Amanda. Amanda says, I think she takes an antidote or something, or her ruby is magic. Either that, or she's kind of like the
ruby.
She's hit these poisons enough that it don't affect her, like it doesn't affect her immediately, but maybe she has to take an antidote later.
It's only 3 people.
I always bring up Dorne, like they do with the vipers and the different snakes and the venoms in Dorne. They build up tolerance to different ones, and the faceless men do it too. They build up the tolerances to the different poisons. And
the only ones that make it are the Alchemists of Lys, the Faceless Men, and the Citadel are the 3 that have access to this poison.
No, they actually bring up a lot of different people. I took notes about all the different people that they mentioned because
those are the 3 I read.
Hold on. Let me show yourself, damn it, Jen. Here's to red. Here's to red.
What are we doing? Shots?
To all every time we mention talk about redheads. Sorry.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you guys, my hairdresser. We did my hair because I thought that the light was getting washed out or whatever.
I like it blonde when you just do it natural, but I like it that way too.
Cheers, red.
It ain't blonde. I mean, it gets a little bit lighter in the summer, but I just have plain brown hair. I'll be right back. I'm gonna fix the cocktail.
All right, rock on, Chaka Khan. So yeah, I thought this was such a great chapter. Of course, it was sad about Crescent dying. It was awesome though. I loved. Did anybody else think of Disney's Hunchback of Notre Dame when he was like kind of talking to the gargoyles?
Yeah,
on the top of the thing. I was like,
Quasimodo.
I love
Crescent.
gargoyles. I've kind of got a thing for them. So yeah, I really did. That's exactly what I thought about. And then I thought about Hercules too.
Hey,
Yeah,
you know what?
yeah, I love that.
You know
movie
what,
too.
Ree? In my notes, he describes the hellhounds and wyverns and gargoyles as being 12 feet tall.
Yes.
And that's what Melisandre's described as being 12, like she's 12
No.
feet tall.
No.
I think it is.
Well, then she's wearing some platforms, man.
Yeah, no, it just says that she's
Tall as a knight. That's right. You're right. You're right.
yeah.
Senior moment.
That's all
But
good.
now listen to the wording of that too. She's taller than most knights.
Mhm.
Than most knights. Like,
Can I say something about Stannis that annoyed me?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh. So
Love
as
it.
I was reading, there's this one part he talks about, obviously Selyse had Shireen as a baby, and then Master Crescent's thinking about, oh, he was more away from Dragonstone. He came once a year sometimes, and then like he was never like sleeping with his wife, and then he never had the sons he hoped for. And I was like, this man, like.
Mhm.
He's like, because obviously, and in the show, I think they made more of it, but in the show, they made it like there was something wrong with her babies or something.
There
But
were.
in the books, it's like, no, he just wasn't like ever having sex with her, so she could never have more kids. And then
Yeah.
he's like mad that he hoped for sons. That really annoyed me. Anyway,
Yes.
But
No,
it was all his brothers. Yeah. It was all Robert's fault for having sex with the Florent cousin
Yeah, they were
in the
like
wedding bed.
cursed.
They were cursed. So it couldn't have been Stannis' impotence or anything. Maybe that's why he's such an asshole.
Maybe.
Why she is creepy as hell.
Shit.
Elamar says, okay, Lady Dreamfire has heartburn. Elamar says celery works. And I'm also telling you a little bit of baking soda and a little bit of water.
Taking it.
Like Alka-Seltzer, if you ain't got nothing else, that helps you. I myself take like Pepsi C or Zantac 150.
Yep.
I'm prescribed omeprazole, which is like Nexium, but
I can get my doctor to write it because my insurance won't cover it. It's insurances don't like to cover that stomach medicine. They don't.
Well, it's funny, like
ulcers,
how I'm just seeing how Lady Dreamfire says
I love
Selene was creepy, and she was, man. How she was just like all like smiling over. But then again, do you think like at the dinner table, like I think that because she had said, well, maybe you'll have a son and meet the Red Witch, Melisandre again, because. Do you think that she tipped her off like, oh, by the way, the Maester's going to try to kill me tonight, but I'm telling you she can't. And soda crackers work also. They have baking soda in them.
Okay, well, okay.
That's
all right,
or like your little your little oyster crackers.
The only time I had really bad heartburn was when I was pregnant.
You're right, man.
Oh my God.
I just didn't have enough
bad heartburn.
Didn't have enough room, and
talking about heartburn and burning hearts. Bran, you pointed that out in the chat.
Bran says the burning heart is Stannis's. That's true.
Right. That's funny. Y'all all have. I mean, it's not funny. Y'all have heartburn, but
Lady that crazy bitch kept those dead babies in a glass jar.
I know.
Only on the show, though. Did she do that in the book?
She does do it in the books as well. Yes, like I said, that whole episode is very, very almost word to word, especially like Crescent's dialogue and Pylo.
So sad.
Are there dead babies in the book? Okay, are there dead?
And what now?
Okay, I found the places. It says the Jade Sea, the Summer Isle. Then it talks about ash. So I thought about the volcanoes, the 14 flames.
Yes.
And then it talks about Lys, Bravos, and then the Maesters at the Citadel.
Oh, and I liked the one thing Crescent said. This was almost my favorite line out of the prologue was people forget that healers also know how to kill.
Yep.
All right, dude.
And it is all
and then he thinks the comment's for him for murder. Everybody seems to think this comment's for them.
Yeah,
like
everybody
in some way.
And that's what we show. Like in life, you're the star of your own. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everything's about you, and that's normal.
Well, I'm proud of Crescent for trying to do the right thing.
And the red one
That's the panel of questions.
breath, and it's about Stannis and for him and all that other stuff.
Operation Dinner Out, Laura. She says, "Have any of you seen the movie Spy Game with Robert Redford?"
Yeah, I was about. I know. What's that?
Operation Dinner Out.
I have not seen it, but it sounds delicious.
Okay, Brandon, I would like to hear from you, my love.
Yeah.
Let's put it on the next topic, please, sir.
I have a question for everyone. Whenever Patchface is saying the shadows come to dance, my lord, do you think he's referencing what happened in the Danny chapter whenever a couple chapters back, whenever the shadows were dancing, or do you think foreshadowing what's to happen in this book later?
Wait, say it again, Brand. You cut out. Say it.
Both.
Do you think he's referencing back to seeing like what happened with Danny and Kent, or do you think he's foreshadowing what's going to happen later in this book?
I think it would make
foreshadowing
at the same time with Danny, because it would make sense that it's happening at the same time.
With Melisandre being there, I think it's a lot of foreshadowing.
This was a very
my
foreshadowing.
opinion.
Well, if you look at the timelines, it's probably happening at the same time as Danny hatching her dragons too.
That's true. And he has other comments.
The shadows equal to others. Go ahead, Kerri. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was just some other things that Patchface sang about, like it's the snow. It snows up under the sea, and it rains dry. The rain comes down dry. I didn't write down everything he said.
I did. I wrote it down. And let's talk about the things Patchface said.
The one that Shireen got creeped out about was the shadow one.
Yeah,
and she's having dreams about dragons.
My lord, to stay, my lord, stay, my lord.
Isn't it weird that she's having dreams about dragons eating her?
That's very weird that she's having dragon dreams.
Yes.
It is.
Dragons have been brought back to the world.
Yeah.
He's having to convince her that the dragons at Dragonstone aren't real.
Right.
So he's having dreams about them being alive.
And remember, we don't really know how Shireen dies.
Not yet.
Not yet, anyways.
But I bet it'll be.
I want to say this is like the Stark kids having dreams about the crypts and stuff, and about the yeah. So this is like her having dreams about it's like this parallel of it, you know. But we don't really think about her.
Amanda, she does have a little Targaryen blood going through their grandmother, but
yeah, she had her great grandmother. Yeah.
Ooh, Lady Dreamfire brought up a good discussion point. Could Bloodraven be controlling Patchface also?
I have heard that theory before, and I thought it was interesting with the with the Raven too, because it could talk.
All right, Elamar. Thank you for coming by. I'm sorry I keep having to get a new app on my phone that tells me how often to drink water to stay hydrated. And I never knew how much, because sometimes I'd go the whole day without drinking any water. I was so on my Coca-Cola, but damn. Okay. But let's talk more about Patchface, and I wrote down the things that he does say. But in particular, the thing that he keeps saying, and they have a particular conversation about this, because this is when Maester Crescent thinks back to, the time for silence and Patchface has come and gone. And he thinks back on the fact that he saved Patchface as perhaps a mistake. But Patchface says, "It is always summer under the sea. The merwives wear ninny moons in their hair and weave gowns of silver seaweed."
I saw a video about those having meaning. The silver seaweed gown, and then the ninny moons being kind of like symbolism for the poison.
What are ninny moons? Can somebody figure that out for me?
They're like flowers, like undersea flowers. I'm pretty sure. If anybody wants to Google it, be my guess.
That's fine. Stacy thinks that perhaps Patchface is a conduit of Bloodraven as well.
It's something, because Melisandre says she's scared of it.
He's under somebody else's control. Yeah. And that's what really, and we haven't got to this yet. So yeah, y'all, we're jumping ahead when we say this. But Melisandre, he freaks her out. She
Yeah.
openly to a couple people. And
I think
when
he's
we get further down the road.
I think he's either for like the great other or the drowned god. And I kind of think the drowned god actually, because I think the drowned god needs a representative too. I think water needs somebody in there, and I think it's him. And it makes the most sense to me. And I think he was interfering, and I think he actually did try to pause, and I think he tried to save Crescent and stop him. And
knocking him down.
Yeah, I think he was actually trying to save him.
Wow.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I didn't even think.
I've never really thought of it that way, but because he goes on to say, clever bird, clever man, clever fool. And that's one of the things he says when they're in Maester Crescent's workshop rookery, looking at the white raven that has come, because to mark the end of summer at the Citadel, they send a white raven to everybody. We see this in more locations than just Dragonstone. But another thing he says is, under the sea it snows up, and the rain is dry as bone.
Yeah.
Now, I've heard somebody else that what he's talking about is he's talking about a volcano. And I agree with them. Dixie in the chat has this theory. And also Marie of Game of Theories with Marie has a really good theory video on the patch face prophecies. Let me see. Shireen asked Mr. Grayson, will it truly snow? It will, but not for a while, and not yet for a long while, I hope. The bird speaks. And then Patchface says, clever bird, clever man, clever fool. And then what he's saying that really freaks her out is the shadows dance, my lord, the shadows to stay, my lord, and Shireen specifically says, and he freaks me out when he says that. He's been saying that for days. Will you please get him to stop saying that? And that's when we get Patchface's history.
Yes. And when I first read this, I just thought bells, and then when cowbells kind of clicked in my head, I'm like, my God, he has to be so damn loud with cowbells hanging from antlers. Holy
that would make
shit.
me crazy to have to walk. You know what? Because look, Mississippi State fans carry on those damn cowbells. You know
They sure do. I know.
Oh my God! Like, enough with your effing cowbell.
Yeah, I know.
It's cute at first, and it's very annoying.
Well, and that means that he spoke 4 languages and he magic before.
Sure did. I
was
sure
a
did. I've
juggler.
got that written down, but I wanted to go to the
Then he got chubby, and I've seen pictures of him. Are his motley red and green?
Right here.
Is it those exact colors, red and green?
Yep.
It's his head and his neck and his face.
Yeah, it's all tattooed. Just his face is tatted up. Yeah.
And he's chubby and kind of
soft and squishy. Basically.
Yeah, soft and squishy. That's it.
Okay. And how do I do that? The old man wondered. Once I might have silenced him forever, but now. Patchface had come to them as a boy. Lord Stephen of cherished memory had found him in Volantis across the narrow sea. The king, the old king, Ares II Targaryen, who had not been quite so mad in those days, had sent his lordship to seek a bride for Prince Rhaegar, who had no sisters to wed. We have found the most splendid fool, he wrote Crescent, a fortnight, that's 2 weeks, before he was to return home from his fruitless mission. Only a boy, yet nimble as a monkey and witty as a dozen courtiers.
And in Volantis.
And riddles and does magic, and he can sing prettily in 4 tongues. We have brought his freedom and hope to bring him home with us. Robert will be delighted with him, and perhaps in time he will even teach Stannis how to laugh.
Nobody teaches Stannis how to laugh.
Why is Aerys sending Stefan Baratheon to Volantis to find a bride for Rhaegar?
Wouldn't you think that would be a slave from old Volantis?
They wanted a Valerian bride. They wanted. He went to find a Valerian. So Aerys was crazy, and he wanted a Valerian. Somebody. That's why he married Ilya Martell, because Martell had Valerian
blood. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Through the
If-
narrative and all.
If
Yeah.
the Baratheons would have had a daughter, they probably would have married Rhaegar, right? So, and they wanted. He also
Yeah.
wanted a family that really wasn't that wealthy. Like his, yeah, Aerys was nuts, but he was looking for a Valerian, and so that's why he went to Essos.
Was Stefan his
Valerian
hand?
too.
What was Stefan Baratheon to Eris? Anything like?
They were good friends. So
Yeah.
actually,
They were
Good
just
friends.
very good friends. I think he
Okay.
held a place on the council.
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
Aerys and Stefan and Tywin Lannister were all very good friends when they were young. Before Aerys started.
Stefan's second cousins. What is not?
Yeah, they would have been
Aerys and
cousins.
Stefan, like second cousins.
First, maybe. Because I think Stefan's mother.
Yeah,
would
they
have
had no
been-
grandmother. Their grandmother
It was
is
a grandmother.
a Targaryen.
But if it was Robert's grandmother, it was Stefan's mother, right? I gotta
Right.
hold on. We gotta get a family tree.
Stefan's
No, wait, Reed probably knows.
mother. It was Stefan's mother was a Targaryen.
I
Right.
thought the grandmother was half Targaryen.
No, it's Robert's grandmother. Stefan's
That's what
mother.
I said.
Stefan is Robert's father.
I know, but I thought the grandmother, Robert's whatever, was half Targaryen, not full Targaryen,
She was a Targaryen.
but only half.
Hold
She
on.
was a full Targaryen.
Dragon blood is dragon blood.
I
Yeah.
thought it was only half because that's why their claim was so iffy because they really
No.
didn't have that much Targaryen blood. All right, I'm gonna
No,
we're gonna
His
bet
mother was
$1.
Rael Targaryen,
Yeah.
Okay.
who was
I lost that bet. Oh,
I
yeah.
thought it was Rayella.
Well, I think it's
Aerys'
all that. There's a cool
I
channel.
love the beautiful crown.
All that bloodline royalty crap is such a pile, anyway.
Right.
It gets confusing.
I'm gonna go get my Louise Belcher bunny ears hat out here in a
Yeah,
minute.
do it.
Oh, okay.
I would-
Okay.
I don't know if anybody else watches that show, but I
Yeah.
love Louise.
I see how. Okay, here I'll share the family tree in the chat.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
It's
you.
the dark tree, but you'll see how it comes.
I'm looking at this one family tree that I found online, and where it says Renly Baratheon, it's got Marjorie Tyrell with a line drawn to it, and then it's also got Sir Loras Tyrell with a dotted line to it.
A dotted
What?
line.
It would have been.
Yeah, it would have
Okay. I can't share the link, but Rael Targaryen, who was Stefan's mother, was Aerys' two's aunt. So
Okay.
that's how she was. So she would have been like Rhaegar's great aunt,
Oh, shit.
something like that.
Okay.
Very
I
cool.
don't know. I always thought it was
Well,
But-
but that was
a
cool
half-
because that I do think that they're total parallels with
there's a lot of Baratheon.
with Winter Hell and Dragonstone.
Yes.
Yeah, no, there is. They're parallel in a lot of ways, and
You know,
you can catch it with a lot of the castle stuff going on. But Dragonstone and Winterfell, yeah, no, that's why I brought up the statues with the wyverns and the.
Well, that's why I wonder, and this is like talking about the new, trailer, supposedly the only one we're gonna get, but when Bran is his voiceover saying, "Now you're home, where you always meant to come back to," or whatever, and you're wondering if he's talking about Lady Wolverton, about
maybe.
Daenerys or Jon, or what? It could be either one.
I think he's talking about John, but that's my vote.
You know what? I thought he was talking about Jamie.
Oh,
Okay.
So yeah,
talk about Jamie.
Oh,
It probably
That's
is John, but with Reed bringing up this, similarities between the two places, that kind of made me think of that quote that Bran said, that was
Yeah.
Bran's in the trailer.
Well, they say with the hot springs at Winterfell, there's some theories that there's a dragon underneath Winterfell breathing,
Some
yeah.
saw-
I think that there's
Summer
definitely
saw
a
one.
clutch of eggs down there.
oh
Me
yeah, no,
too.
I think that in that Bran chapter, that totally was a dragon that came out. So
Mhm.
I think that was blatantly obvious,
That Summer saw, yeah. In this one, when Crescent finally gets the servants to help him get down to the Great Hall, one other asshole thing about Stannis is like he talks about all the men are sitting there, the folks at the high seat, and then all of the Celtigars and Valerians and the Sunglass and Salador San and all the sellswords, they all pretty much have to sit there in silence and not like have fun and laugh and whatever. And the only entertainment is freaking Patch Face. You know what I mean? So I'm like, what a dick,
walking around
man.
with his creepy tattooed face, which I think face tattoos are super creepy anyways. And then with the bucket bell antler
Selyse
head.
is like,
volcanic island. Think about it.
And Selyse is like, Selyse is like, your counsel is as good. What does she say? Something about the counsel in the
right. Well, and that's where she says, like, why don't you just sing your counsel? Like, and that's where Stannis draws the line. It's like, no.
That's where he's like,
that's enough, woman.
With antlers and bells on it.
Yeah.
But hey, he doesn't have to sing his counsel, lady. Woman. That's where I draw the line. It's like,
yeah.
Dude.
Another time Melisandre's ruby glows is when Crescent says that god has no power here.
Yeah. I want to bring something up too that he said then whenever they were talking about the gods.
Mm-hmm.
There's actually two things I'm going to bring up. Because when they were talking about the gods, he said something about your gods with that, and then my gods about the children in the night.
What?
About protecting.
About because she says night is dark and full of terrors, and then he says only children are afraid of the
night.
And I think that was because he obviously worships the seven. Mm-hmm. So I think that's a call to the children, like the actual children, fear the dark.
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
The North remembers. I mean, we're learning a lot about that.
Actually, they don't. That's bullshit.
I know, but I think it's telling us shit, like
No, I do too. That's like my funniest joke ever.
And only the children fear the dark, fear the night, that sort of stuff. Yeah. So I think that's like little hints there and just what their prayers are, basically. That they're just dumbasses and don't even realize that they're, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to bring up too was Salador San, and I'm trying to remember what he looked like because I was thinking about Uncle Jerion. I was talking to Jen about this earlier. I don't know where
you are. And I'm sorry, I think I fixed that for you, Liz. Type something, babe.
There you are. But yeah, I was wondering if that was Uncle Jerry.
Buzzkill. Stannis is a Buzz Killington from Family Guy.
That's funny. Buzz Killington. That's awesome. He's a Buzz Killington McKillington Buzz. He's the worst. I'm sorry, and so I don't know. So bring it, Stannis lovers, but I'm not.
My mom just likes the fewer thing that came out of the show. If I say something like, I got less of this, and she's like, fewer. Like, she's on it, like, all the time. That became one of her most favorite things to say.
Stannis? He's a grammar cop,
fewer, too? Yeah.
Ugh. One more shining bell.
Oh, man.
Sorry, what'd you say, Bran? Hello?
Bran?
Huh?
Did you say something, babe?
No, I said something a long time ago about I was just agreeing with everyone on how shitty they were treating Crescent at the end.
Yeah, it's so sad.
Like they were really bullying him, weren't they?
Yeah.
I felt bad for him.
Nobody got it.
I certainly felt bad for him.
I did too.
Decent person there. Davos, right?
But Davos is the only one who's good to him, really.
Well, he tries to stop him, but I mean, he could have done more, really, to be honest. But
no, because anything more, he would. Look, he's got like every digit of his left hand, except for his thumb. Well, maybe he got his thumb too, but I don't think so. Like chopped off with a butcher cleaver. I mean, that's just like so grisly. It's like, dude. Like maybe after the first one, it'd be like, okay, did you learn your lesson? All right, because I'm kind of done here. Like, okay, so you're missing your pinky digit, but no, I'm gonna do it 3 more times. That's so mean.
So you're saying Davos was being not being a hero?
No, I think he was. I think that it just clinches it. No, he's the only. That's what I said. He's the only one who was decent and stood up so he could sit by him. You know. He
that
could sit
part.
by me. And it just is another clincher of what an ass Stannis is. Like that he could. I mean, like after the first chop, like okay, yep. But you did bring salted fish and onions. I mean, he's crying about my brother, Dad, for stopping the siege. But
how do you think?
Yeah, and you chopped off the guy who like saved your whole party.
Well, the one POV chapter Melisandre has later on, I can't like was it?
A dance.
4, 5. Okay, I've read that over and over and over, but could it be the fire that's inside of her that cleanses, that keeps that poison away? Because her last line to her, to Crescent, is, he does have power here and fire cleanses.
Fire does cleanse. I definitely think that. I agree with you.
So,
yeah, I would agree with that.
Yep.
And do you think she, like in that, I was born with 2 extra fingers and I can give
that makes me think of Anne Boleyn. That makes me think of Anne Boleyn.
Yeah.
EO again? EO. How do you? I know the Fleming.
He told me it's like Gaelic or Irish for Owen.
Okay,
so
Owen. Okay, cool. I like that.
Very cool. This spelling. I
thought it was Netherlands or something. Okay, cool. Thank you.
The Fleming does kind of sound that way. On that new Project Blue Book show with
I tried to watch it. Who's watching that? Who else watching that? Everybody in the chat, everybody on the panel.
Tuesday's episode was awesome, and Captain Quinn, his last name is Malarkey, which is so Irish.
Awesome.
So hot. His name's Captain John Quinn or Michael Quinn, and he's just, it got really good.
Okay. Is this based on real history? Because that's funny if that's where it came from.
Yes,
You're
it is.
full of malarkey. Is this guy full
of
malarkey?
Well,
it's on the History Channel.
It isn't. It's on the History Channel. It has Aidan Gillen. He's Dr. Alan Hynek, and he's hired by the Air Force to help investigate UFOs. And
well, somebody must be full of malarkey.
They are. Wants to cover it up, and Dr. Hynek's funding, and then it's got Russian spies and like.
Stacey said, "Oh my God, yes, he is hot."
Isn't he hot? Yes, Stacey, tell me about it. The more I watch it, and this week's episode had abduction stuff in it, so it's just been like it was super good. My husband and I just like sit there with our mouths open, like,
I watched together.
And I will tell you, the first couple
just
episodes,
give it a try.
Yeah, it's a little slow getting going, and I couldn't get over the little finger mannerisms for a couple of episodes, but then it just boom. Like Robert loved it from the beginning because his uncle worked with Von Braun, who's in a couple of episodes.
Werner
von Braun on Rocket up in Huntsville, and he was at NASA. Yes, and maybe that's why Naomi's so good at math. I don't know, because Robert's family, I mean, his uncle was a freaking rocket scientist, and then Robert's good at math and music, and his grandmother taught math, and I told Naomi I can't help her with her math homework like years ago.
Nazis, like, they let him over to the U.S. because he knew a bunch of shit.
He was, right. And a lot of the Air Force guys on the show treat him like shit because he was
okay, that's cool.
Okay, all right. Well, here's
accurate, you know.
A lot of the smarty pants Nazis had to be Nazis.
Right.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, you know, that's a very precarious time. I really don't want to judge anybody either way on it. I think it's wrong to be a Nazi, of course. But I do think a lot of people just joined because they felt like they couldn't do anything else.
Well, either that or
Germany's economy was shit. I mean,
and you were dying.
Like, that's basically how he turned.
He was sending people off to
country
death camps.
on itself was that they were just so poor and had at the Treaty of Versailles. They were a lot of people who had fought hard were very unhappy with the way things ended at the Treaty of Versailles.
Okay. And there you go. Grungy McGrungersons sticking it to them because of World War I. Weren't
That
we
was
just
the
talking about
coolest.
that?
This is we're not even talking about this damn chapter anymore. But
I know, we gotta get
there
back
was
to that.
there was a cool show. These guys chasing after Hitler's trail and him escaping out of Berlin, going through Spain. Did you? Oh, and that Goodry, he left and went to Argentina. There was already a whole damn network set up for him down in Argentina and other Nazis, and I think he totally lived out the rest of his life and died there. And he wanted to start the Fourth Reich from Argentina.
Yep. No, they
Some
followed.
of them Nazis got away, no doubt about it. Some of them Nazis got away, no doubt about it.
Oh God, it shows Alabama in such a great light from these kids from down the street, not street, sorry, but close to where my parents live, are all over Snapchat talking about like really racist stuff, like they're neo-Nazis and
Oh my
stuff.
God.
And somebody recorded them, and it got put all over the news. So that
Oh
really
God.
makes Alabama look like, even, you know, and
No, it just makes those people look dumb. You can't, you know, it's not child's play. There's dumb people everywhere. There's dumb people in every state. I promise. I got it. It's one like All right, you guys, but let's talk about this if y'all don't mind. I want to talk about the fact that, and it does say the oldest two children of Stannis Baratheon literally watched their father and mother drown and die, and everybody with them basically. And then they get patch face. About patch face for 3 days, and he was left incoherent, witless, and repetitive. And if you notice, Maester Crescent, he knows he's on his way out, but Palace is a snake, isn't he, y'all? Don't y'all get that feeling from Palace?
He seems a little.
I don't like him. He's wormy.
Yeah,
there you
he's
go.
trying to basically push him out as fast as he can.
Oh, he said Stannis. He says Stannis commanded him to leave Crescent alone, but you know,
I didn't get that at all. I thought, you know, he was just a guy in a circumstance. But
you don't have to agree with. But I do. I feel like Pilot got a little bit snakish, and you can see it also in the way that he goes along and gets along with the Red Woman, which I think he sees as what he needs to do to become Stannis' new #1 maester. Because
when does it show him getting along with the Red Woman? I mean, he just doesn't say anything.
Right.
And in the show, it's different because it just shows her burning the idols. It does show the wine part too, but not. Crescent gets more upset, like with talking to Davos and whatever. It seemed like to me in the show part when the idols were burned and the sword was forged and all of the BS that Melisandre does to try to make him fit in perfectly into the little prophecy. When he wasn't born,
is that he knows a lot of that is just trickery.
So, I mean, he doesn't fit into any of it.
What about the White Raven? Because I mean, basically, that's what they're doing. Like all the prophecy and omen and stuff that we're missing from Crescent is what they're shoving down our throats with the beach thing, right?
That's true. Because Crescent does talk about I'm being silly with all this omen stuff. I've always been a learned man.
He feels that way.
Yeah.
He thinks about how if he was much younger, he wouldn't feel that way.
Right.
Go ahead, Reed.
And all the stuff at the feast and all. And
here's what he says about the comet. He is looking at the comet. He doesn't believe in omens, but this comet was unlike any he had ever seen. None half so bright, nor yet the color, that terrible color, the color of blood, flame, and sunset.
Why is that terrible?
I don't know, because red at night, sailor's delight. Red sky in the morning, sailor's delight. I don't even get why that's a bad thing.
Red comets, like spiritually or pagan stuff or whatever.
Well, I think he was just associating that terrible color because it was the same color that Melisandre was wearing.
Probably because he was.
Her eyes are red, and even her eyes are red in the book.
They are.
Her lips were red, her eyes were red, everything. And that's what he was, the last thing he said. She was red, red, red.
But
Ooh,
also,
and her face is heart-shaped. That just popped. Oh my God, just made the connection with the Lord of Light. That part.
Oh,
But also-
yeah, you're right. Her face is heart-shaped, which is very common in a woman and pretty. Like Vivian Lee has a heart-shaped face.
Love me some
Wondering-
Vivian Lee. Oh,
Yeah, we were talking about her today. So yeah, Vivian Lee
Yeah.
is a classic beauty with a heart-shaped face. If you want to
Mhm.
know what we're talking about, so imagine.
But I have
Face.
auburn hair, and so when he says, and I have hazel eyes, and so my eyes turn color from green to brown.
Mine do too.
And so
copper hair.
with my auburn hair, my eyes have been the same color as my hair. Swear.
Ooh.
Like so, like, is it like when they say red eyes? Of course, we're thinking like albino red, right? Like, but
Well,
at
if
least
she is
that's
filled with
but-
fire, that would make sense.
But I'm
You know
just
the
saying, like,
theory about
sometimes my-
Melisandre.
Purple and red and terrible.
what, Liz?
You know there's a theory about who she is, right?
Yeah, about that she's
The
Blood
ghost of
Raven and
Hot-
Shira Seastar's daughter.
Yes.
Okay,
And
do
so
you
that she's
believe
like-
that?
Well, kind of, maybe.
I'm
Like
okay,
she's
I
maybe
don't
an
believe that. I
albino
kinda
and
believe
red
it.
hair.
It fits the timing.
Yeah.
Too
Now we'll
old.
go down the line. Brian, what do you think about that?
I honestly thought that Liz was about to say Melisandre's the ghost of High Heart.
Then me too, Bran.
Oh,
Me
shit.
too. Me too.
No, I
That's
don't
what I
think
was
she's that.
wanting her to say.
All
That's
right,
a-
Cameo. Well, thank you for coming by, my lady. It's always good.
I'm not.
seeing you here.
Bye,
Stacy
Cammy.
says good one, Liz.
Cammy.
I didn't know Blood Raven and Cher had a kid.
They had a thing, okay?
Yeah, I know that, but I didn't
okay,
know.
Ree, go ahead. Ree, break this down for Kerri,
Yeah.
Mm, Carrie.
I know, like it's fun. You're super southern tonight. Do another
No,
shot.
that's her. That's her. No, that was Cajun.
Louisiana.
That was Cajun. That wasn't.
Louisiana accent.
I know. I'm
Southern, it'd
digging
be-
it though. When you say color,
It'd be Carrie.
color,
Carrie.
Break that down for Kerri, please.
I just know it. Like, I know
so
Italian
there's
cuss
Blood
words, and
Raven
that's
and
about it.
Bitter Steel, who are both great bastards of who Maegor the Cruel.
Right.
Is that right, Ree?
Well,
No, Aegon
no.
4.
Aegon 4, the
Right.
one with all the mistresses.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's it before.
And both of them had a thing with her. And no, nobody knows if they had a child or not, but she went away. And she
Yeah.
could have had
Also-
one.
They were all great bastards, right? She was Aegon 4's daughter too.
Yes.
But doesn't Melisandre grow up with a mother and then get?
Oh
sold?
no, she was a
remembers
slave.
vaguely.
Remember?
She
Weren't her
remembers
and-
vaguely a mother.
Yeah, and then her being called Melly.
Melody.
Lot, whatever, and
Lot
then her name.
Melanie,
Melanie,
I
Lot
think in the book is her
7.
given name.
Yeah,
Was it Melanie or Melody? I don't know.
I
Melody.
thought it was Melanie. Maybe
Melanie.
Melody. I have a cousin Melanie, and that's how I.
Melody like a song.
Okay.
That's what I thought.
I
I
don't
thought it
think
was
so.
Melanie. Okay.
I think it's Melanie too.
No, it's melody like a song.
Reed,
That's what I
girl,
thought.
I'm gonna look it up. It's not.
I've done it times. I'll bet you money on it.
Oh Lord, y'all
Okay.
bet my ass.
Look it up right
Melody.
That's what.
Ooh.
Meyer
Look at you
27.
guys.
What's your first name? Well, who is that?
That's
I know y'all-
Stacy.
Stacy. Okay, Melanie, lot 7. She says Melanie
Yeah,
too.
I always said Melton. That's my cousin's name.
No IE in it.
That's funny. I thought it was Melody, and maybe it was just from a
That's
reading I heard. I don't know why I remember that even, Ree. That's amazing. So I very well might have read it wrong.
what I do. Put a D in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
you
a
know what?
song.
I could do it
Okay.
all the time.
Hey, Card.
No, I-
Hey,
Was she a
Cardinal.
slave
Hey,
too?
Cardinal Doomsday.
What's
You know a
up?
lot, and you know a lot.
Yeah, she does.
That's all right. When I looked at it, and then I was like, "What I do for the?"
Well, you know, that's how I remember things is by association. I learned that way, and I have a cousin named Melanie.
So
I don't think
we were
that
even
well.
now, I guess, because I bet you and then I lost and then you just lost this one. So
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, and Bree already owes me a Coke. So
Yeah.
oh, okay.
A Coca-Cola.
Couple Cokes now too.
That's
Yeah.
a good day. That's a good bet. That's a good bet.
Right. I'm gonna start
Start
keeping.
betting drinks and shots for Con.
Yeah.
All right.
We're gonna start betting drinks and shots. We're gonna keep a tally.
Right.
Woo!
Oh, I don't have anything to drink except coffee or some
Yeah,
mug,
I mean, but
some
my God,
sweet
y'all,
tea.
Terry
We
should
need.
drink her some coffee.
I need
y'all.
some
Oh my God.
tequila in this house. I mean, my father-in-law goes on cruises like 5-6 times a year and needs to bring us a damn bottle of tequila. I'm gonna ask him for one next time he goes.
Hey, Cardinal Doomsday, you just got home?
Go ahead, you got
so
gonna
whenever we have
type it, but got out of the
Brian, you bring
house.
up a point.
trailer.
Y'all want to talk about the trailer? Y'all want to wrap this up and talk about the trailer? Okay, well, we'll do that then. Is there anybody in the chat who has something that they, well, I tell you one thing we didn't go over that I want to go over.
Yeah.
Okay.
Crescent likes Davos. Davos is plain speaking, and we get a very good description. I want to go over these descriptions. We get a very good description of Davos.
Mm-hmm. Davos short-handed. Oh,
He seems so cool to me.
he is. Well, and
A white man, his plain birth written on his face, common face, stained cloak with leather glove on his maimed hands. And, you know, we're told he's just a plain slight man who is really a plain speaker, who, you know, is not a yes person. He's not going to yes Stannis to death. And Crescent likes him. But he says that, you know, a lot of the other lords wouldn't treat with him because of his low birth, basically. We also get a serious description of the table, which we've seen on the television show numerous times. I want to go over this. A massive slab of carved wood fashioned at the command of Aegon Targaryen in the days before the conquest. 50 feet long, the painted table was more than 50 feet long, perhaps half that wide at its widest, and less than 4 feet at its narrowest. On the chair in the room was Stannis. I knew you would come, old man, whether summoned or not. No one. Stannis never had any more.
Now, if you read it in proper order, this would be your first introduction to the painted table.
Exactly. We also get a very good description of Shireen,
which I also thought would be a great bar name. The what was the name of the was it the dragon
The
table?
stone
The dragon.
The painted table?
Was it the painted table or
Yeah.
There probably is a bar called the painted table. I'm sure.
that would be a great bar name. And then also what was the name of the hall too that they were in? The
stone drum.
Yeah. Both great bar names. So you know, someday.
And Stacy's just commenting on how they got they really got this right in the show, and they really did. They really got the Maester Crescent, the Maester Palace, the painted table, all of this Dragonstone stuff that went down, the poisoning, the burning of the gods. They really got all of that right, though we haven't got quite to that yet. But we get our first description of Shireen. When Shireen enters the chamber with Maester Palace to see the White Raven, guileless blue eyes blinked at them. It's me in patches, Maester. She had her Lord Father's square jaw, jut of a jaw, and her mother's unfortunate ears, along with a disfigurement all her own, the legacy of a bout of grayscale that had almost claimed her in the crib. Almost half across one cheek and well down her neck, her flesh was stiff and dead, and the skin cracked and flaking, molten black and gray, stony to the touch.
Yeah, it's hard for me to think of her as like an ugly little girl because she is so damn cute in the show.
She really is.
Wasn't her name Kerri? Isn't her name Kerri something? Ingram, Kerri.
Yeah, in real life, her name is Kerri.
Which, Kerri, by the way, sweet shirt.
Thank you.
Was it a good show?
Well, this is the new one. I went to see them in 2017 for the Blurry Face album, and then I'm
Okay.
going. My brother got us tickets to go June 12th.
I knew that you were going to see him again, so this is okay.
I know. I mean, when I found out Atlanta and Nashville sold out, I almost started crying. I was like so upset. But then they came out with
They added a show.
So yeah. So
Cool.
Sweet.
And here's a description of the room I had written down, and we'll go over this, and then we'll move on to the trailer if you guys like. A great round room with walls of bare black stone and 4 tall, narrow windows that look out to the 4 points of the compass. In the center was the great table from which it took its name. And that, I think it's talking about the room takes its name from the table. I believe the room at the top is called the map room.
I thought it was the stone drum because it has the 4 windows that let all the air, like the compass points.
Yeah, that's
right.
Compass point. It's the painted room.
Okay.
Oh, the painted table, the painted table, the painted table.
The painted table, and then there was, but there's also, and I thought there was a dragon. No, I think it was the painted table. I never had a pen handy when I was to take good notes.
That's all right.
So, anyways, but I was just like, dang, that'd be a great bar name.
The whole place is set up like a dragon.
What about Renly? Because it was talking about his Rainbow Guard and Loris being the Lord Commander of it.
Mm-hmm.
And
right.
The different
You're right,
right. And make sure Grayson notes that this is just like Renly, poor child.
I was like fabric.
Playing a game he really has no business playing.
Yeah.
Except for he does, because he would have been a way better king than Stannis.
I agree, Moni.
I think with good counsel he would have been.
I'm sorry, like he's a total.
Would have been.
Yep, he's a populist, and Stannis is a dick. So
I mean, Renly is almost, if you will, the closest thing to a politician we have.
Well, Crescent describes it as, look at me, I'm a wizard,
yeah,
look at me,
I'm a wizard, I'm
a bird, look at me, I'm king, you know.
Which also reminds me of Stuart from In Living Color. Look at me. Stuart.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the trailer, you guys. Unless anybody in the chat or on the panel has something else to say about the prologue of Clash of Kings, let's move on and talk about the trailer a little bit before we go.
All
right.
They're typing. What the heck? John is gonna ride a dragon.
Yeah,
I don't know about that.
See, I didn't see it all, so I can't really comment.
Who thinks John's gonna ride a dragon?
John is getting on radar.
I don't think so. I agree.
I think yes. I think that's what Arya's staring at when that picture of her
Like
not
I
don't
think so.
What, you think he's gonna ride bitch?
Did you just say you think he's gonna ride bitch?
That's what it's called.
He's not gonna ride a dragon.
Yes, he will.
I
think he will too.
I mean, I guess technically he's already rode one. I mean,
yeah.
Oh, boo!
But
on the boat.
According to Dario, you know, if those two were having a man-to-man,
which is true in both cases.
Shit.
He's riding bitch.
Yeah, right. Cardinal Doomsday got it. Okay, Fearless Mermaid. That's our Amanda Duncan. She's got to go. Night, Amanda.
Amanda.
Look, praying for Sadie.
Yeah, she's got a GoFundMe set up.
Yeah.
The surgery, pet insurance is trying to say that her dog injuring itself is a pre-existing condition, which
We
is
need the link to your GoFundMe, Amanda, on our messages, and I'm happy to put it up for you in my description every week till you meet your goal. Y'all, excuse me just 1 minute. I've got a new app on my phone that tells me when to drink water, and it's serious.
I need to.
Dude, you used to piss a lot before. Help us. Good Lord.
Have y'all heard that this is the only trailer we're going to get?
Yeah, I think so.
Well,
I haven't seen any of them yet.
I've heard, the morning it came out, I woke up at like 11 and there were already people doing live stream discussions about it. Like everybody YouTube just went crazy. And
On AU's channel, I caught his today, and they were talking a little bit
I
about it.
didn't.
But it was interesting. Did you guys ever notice the 7-pointed star in the Night King's eye?
I know.
Hey,
it's so
I called the bookstore to see if they had those magazines yet. Yeah,
I was
but
just like,
in
wow.
Alabama,
You
I
guys,
figured
I
no.
get
So
ET. So I send Russell. I'm not dressed yet. I'm like, Russell, go get the mail.
yeah,
And sure as shit, the
There's a-
Entertainment Weekly was in the mail. Let me show you what it was.
there's a bunch of covers too.
Oh, I'm excited.
This is the one I fucking got. I was so fucking mad.
Oh, it's coming out next week.
That's what I thought. That's what we decided. It must
Yeah.
be next week because I was naming off. Oh, I wouldn't mind the Cersei and the whatever. I wouldn't mind the hound. I wouldn't mind the
the
Gillian
Hound.
What?
And then Russell
You
goes,
got-
and it's still the one.
You got
from-
Captain Marvel.
It'll be.
Yeah.
That's
Which
what
you know what? She's a badass. I looked up about her, and
She is.
her cat.
I like Brie Larson.
Her cat is really cool in the comics. It
Yo,
actually
you
has my superpower that I want.
which are.
To be able to open up a portal dimensions.
You can like do like a reverse black hole, basically. Just put it
Her
that
cat.
Okay.
Yeah, her cat is cool.
Yeah, she's
And
fucking
I'm a dog person, but her cat is cool. And it's named Chewie after Chewbacca.
like alternate universes, like hidden in gums.
Yeah.
And,
Inside its mouth pockets. And
Yeah.
His name is Chewie. That's awesome.
no, it's for the movie. It's something else. Like I forget what it is, but
Moni, I have to show you all of my Star Wars Pez. I collect Pez dispensers, and I have like
Awesome.
7 Star Wars Pez's. I don't know where I found them. I have some Shrek ones and weird
What?
stuff like that, but I've got C-3PO and Chewbacca and Princess Leia, R2D2,
Oh my gosh, that is so
Darth
cool.
Vader.
You just like became way cooler than you even were before.
And they get knocked over. They get knocked over by my animals all the time because they're so precarious up there. And one falls and they all fucking fall, you know. Oh, my beagle. We took him to the park today. He's
Beagly.
He's such a you know, he's just such a kid.
See, this is a blanket that I'm making for a friend.
But yeah, oh cool. I wanted to say about Sadie. Yeah, that she ran through the room after the cat and hit her knee, and now she needs surgery on her ACL, and something happened to her kneecap. And the pet insurance is saying that that's a pre-existing condition, so they won't help her cover. The surgery's $1,900, and you know I've been talking to her because I was a vet tech, and I figured it'd be a specialist that did it, but she said her vet is good at.
Well, I know Metairie Animal Hospital here is the one that does, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
All the surgery. Like if you injure your dog, like out here in Chalmette, don't even bother. All they're going to do is give it an IV and maybe some pain medicine, charge you $500 and send you to Metairie Animal Hospital.
They'll ream your ass with overcharging. You gotta watch it.
And that's what happened to us when Rudy got hit by a car one time and we had to pay for a $1,700 surgery. We took him to a vet right here near us.
They want to do blood work and all that.
They gave him an IV and gave him a little pain medicine, which must have not been much because he still cried the whole 45-minute drive to Metairie. But then we ended up paying them $1,700, and they were like, you know, it would have been cheaper if you'd have just bought him from the shop. So that is
I used to buy the supplies.
Is that knitted or what is that?
What
is that, knitted or crochet?
Crocheted.
Oh,
look, you little crochet badass.
I wish I could do that.
No shit. I have some little baby. I have some little baby clothes that
I'm still working on it.
One of my cousins. Cool. I want a scarf.
It's really soft. Okay.
Or a hat or a beanie.
I want to say this about the trailer. Okay. Everybody says they think Aya's running from a white or whatever.
You can't see what she's running from.
I thought she was landing in the passages beneath King's Landing, and she didn't got trying to get somebody got.
Yeah,
well, I will say
going after some people on her list, and shit didn't go according to plan, and she had become the hunted.
Exactly.
Aya. What
she ran into something she didn't mean to run into, and Got
What is-
exactly. And she's in King's Landing. I agree with you 100% because she's not
Okay.
wearing
Yeah, I'm
Let me
going
say
to
this.
is not even in the Crimson Winterfell. She's
it
in
ain't cold at all.
because she didn't left to go try to kill Cersei because she's like number one on her motherfucking list.
Right, and I didn't see no cold breath. That bitch didn't look cold at all. No, there was nothing. That bitch wasn't cold.
She looked
No,
like
She
a
had
lady.
a serious-
I wanna-
So you-
Seriously.
so
So
serious.
you don't think it was a dream?
No, I think it was
No.
Nancy
It-
G says,
It
why
could
aren't
have.
there any GOT Pez?
Yeah, thank you. I do have a Harry Potter set, Nancy, but I've never seen Game of Thrones. And I have said that would be kick ass.
I'd
Because I
certainly
I
buy
have an
one if I saw
Elvis
it.
have an Elvis set and a freaking Kiss set, and like I don't know why I
Kiss!
look like them. I don't know why I like
Yeah.
Pez, but
Man, that guy loves his merchandising, doesn't he?
What about the
Right.
supposedly there's Funko Pez's, but I have not seen those.
That's awesome.
This is what about Aria. I saw somebody, and it might have been gray area match, like looking at the wall sconces, and it matches Winterfell's. That's all. That's one thing I'm going to say. And also,
Okay,
what
I
if
know-
Arya is being chased by like somebody she knows that's been turned into a white, and it's something that really made her lose her shit. You know what I mean?
I thought that too, and I think parts of that might be. And I thought that there was two different cutscenes. I think some of it might be
it's
that, and some of it might be her. And
She's running and
there,
she cut on her eye. And she
on her face. Yeah.
freaked out. I think she was going to get somebody and they were, I don't know how or what or why, but I think that she, like I said, she was going to get somebody and she almost got got. And she
agree with
what
with
if
the
they did this
consensus.
Lady Stoneheart thing and Qyburn brought her mom back in the King's
There
Landing?
it goes, crazy girl. See, this damn internet's so crazy.
Because
Pez always reminds me of that Seinfeld episode, Peter. I forgot all about that.
Right? Catelyn's body was last at the twins, right? They never recovered it.
Right.
That's right. She's not. She shouldn't have a statue. Or
Yeah, no, it was recovered.
Mountain and Lady Stoneheart her back and freak her the fuck out, and that could be what she's running from.
Yeah.
Lady Stoneheart is not coming back.
Nah, they ain't gonna put her
not
in
in the show. And it looks like, I mean, I've only been able to watch it like on YouTube. I've watched it on my TV, but like YouTube compresses the shit out of everything. But it looks like they blobbed out whatever's chasing her, like into some kind of black blob. Man, I need a computer screen or something where I can like really slow it down and look at it. But
yeah, and it might not be necessarily Catelyn. It might be like something else. I'm just saying
it could be Rickon. I've seen.
You know what?
They
said today that it was Bran being pushed in a wheelchair by Jaime Lannister and I forget who the other person was there with them, but like, so those were the two people that they saw, and then there was another person there too, and it's just like, what? That's why I was hoping it's a dream.
Thank you, Liz. I'm so glad you can share links.
Oh yeah,
it's a little past the fact, but I heard a theory that there's, of course, this is like people who support a certain theory for the whole season, but
you talking about John, so just go ahead and say it, Liz.
No, it's about Sansa getting kidnapped, and they were saying that maybe Arya was, during the battle, she was supposed to be protecting Sansa, and then she got lured away, and then realized what happened, and is like running back to try to find her and can't find her. That was the theory.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, that's good.
I do like the Sansa getting kidnapped theory. That makes a lot of sense.
It has to be something big to throw her off like that, because it shows her with the staff, spinning that shit around and just being her little badass self. And
but this was actually like, I think her running, and they zoomed in behind her shoulder, so they did, because I was like, man, they could edit it any way they want.
Well, Peter said
Kyle showed a picture.
And I said, I was like, tell me.
Oh, I've also seen a lightened up.
Griffin, fucking tell us what. I don't want any spoilers, but
I don't
do spoilers. La 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 la.
Jaime, Sam, and Bran. Okay, so they're trying to save Bran.
Oh, Sam. Oh no. Giggity giggity. You just broke my heart.
Sam
But
will
yeah,
be
that's
okay. Sam
but I
will be
don't
okay.
see I don't think that
The thing that
trailers are
Peter-
really spoilers, so I forgive you.
Peter's
Yeah, I don't
Peter's thing
not
is
okay.
the laugh. Giggity's Quagmire, but Peter's is the.
I know. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I did
No,
see
but
some
Quagmire's a treat. Giggity
I
giggity.
watch
a
that show
lightened
every
version of the
freaking night.
trailer, so you can see it all like a lot better. I gotta find it. It's on
Yeah.
YouTube somewhere.
Okay.
Somebody said, where it shows the dragons flying through the crevice, that I think Gree and I were talking about it. Just a couple people have like zoomed in on that, and that you can see somebody riding on Rhaegal. So there's your John theory.
I think John probably does ride the dragon.
That would be John.
Yeah.
Yeah. If
I
think
don't
John
want
rides
him to
the
ride a
dragon.
dragon.
Which
Why
hashtag
don't
I
you
found
just
out.
let
that,
Liz?
Brian, do you think that John is going to ride Rhaegal?
Yeah.
Kerri, do you think John is going to ride Rhaegal?
Hell yeah, he's gonna kick some ass with Rhaegal.
Liz,
Oh, see, I don't think so. I
you
think Rhaegal's got to
you're
be
next,
curious.
Moni, you're next. Liz,
Okay, sorry.
John is going to ride Rhaegal.
You know, I just read a theory that I also didn't agree with that said he was going to ride, like, they said he was going to, these are book readers. They were like, oh, he's going to ride Viserion. That's not going to happen. I don't really want him to ride a dragon. And
No.
I think I like him being a Targaryen, but being like the most anti-Targaryen there is. So, like, I just feel
You don't
like
it.
yeah, I don't like it. I don't know. I used to, and in one of my fics, I have him riding Rhaegal, and like I had that happen, but I wouldn't do that again.
Okay.
I've changed my mind.
Okay, I appreciate the different answer. Okay, so you're not sure, but you hope not.
Yes, that's
Why?
Okay, Moni, I'm sorry. You're dying today. Okay.
I know, because I
ride a
don't.
dragon.
I say he's only going to ride the same dragon that Danny rides because my little man has to ride a dragon.
Okay, good answer. Good answer.
So he does not get to ride the other dragon. I say no.
But maybe Danny dies and then he rides Drogon after she's
Yes,
you know what? Kind of like
yes,
Valerian the
that's
Black
acceptable.
Valerian the Black Dread, passed around to whoever could control, or when everybody wanted, that was the dragon of dragons. And I believe Drogon is the dragon of dragons returned.
Who do y'all think John's, what statue do you think?
Rick, do you think
Oh.
John's gonna ride a dragon?
Thank you.
I'm sorry,
Yay.
Ray, I left you out. I'm so sorry.
And you were waiting so patiently, you good little kitten.
I know. She did that last week, and I never said a word, by the way.
Aw.
That's all right. I'm trying to get better about leading too. It's my fault more than anyone else's. Rick,
It's okay. Do your thing, baby. Do your thing. Handle your shit, baby. Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing about Drogon, because I kind of thought that Danny was gonna die or something like that, and he was gonna end up on Drogon, because it seems like Drogon and him already got some kind of bond.
Yeah, they have some kind of rapport. The way he was like petting him, it was
He's
like
all sniffing up on him.
Right, but it seems like they're trying to play it already, like he's gonna ride Rhaegal. So I don't.
Okay, chat.
Uh,
Do it, and I'll read it out. Everybody in the chat. CD.
Let me
Wait,
say-
Branwick.
Matt.
Wait,
finish.
Branwick.
I like the idea of somebody else riding Rhaegal, like Tyrion or Arya, and John riding Drogon.
Yes.
Well, then,
So that's what I want to see happen.
Yeah. Me too.
Well, John's gonna ride one or the other
Because
for fan service.
at the lands of always winter where they make another pact. So he's gonna have to ride.
They'll do it for fan service on the show.
Well, the thing is, they already killed one of the dragons, the dirty dastards. So wait, Bran, what's your opinion? You didn't get a turn yet.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I went first. I think.
Oh, you
John's
did?
gonna ride Rhaegal.
I do too.
You
Or
do. Okay, you do.
John to ride Drogon.
I mean, he's
Tyrion to ride.
right.
Oh, Danny would like have to die.
He
I
could
don't
ride
think-
Rhaegal, though, in all reality. I mean, if he is ice and fire and as badass as he's supposed to be, John could probably ride all of them.
I think so. I was gonna say that, Ree.
Yeah.
No one has ever ridden more than one dragon, though. Like they'll like.
I could see it with John, though. I really could. If he's supposedly as badass as he's supposed to
I
be.
don't know. I don't know. Is
maybe
John
so.
really that
Maybe so.
badass?
I can fire. I could see him.
Yeah.
Is it not badass enough to have a dragon and a wolf?
Damn it, John.
Well, that's another question, actually. That's love triangle. He's totally.
Hey,
Already got
I love you guys. Oh my god.
There's definitely some fanfics where he has a dragon and a wolf, by the way. Out there.
we got like 10
I mean,
minutes
because
before
how
our
else
2
would it
hours
be
up.
though?
I wanted to ask y'all a question. We got 10 minutes left, but who do y'all think what do you think it's Liana John standing in front of when Danny comes down to comfort him?
Yes.
Okay.
I think it's
I do
Ned
too.
because he's probably upset with him.
Pissed at the man.
Yeah.
I
agree.
don't think he'd be upset with Ned. I think he would thank him for taking care of him as much as he did.
I think he's gonna have issues with him at first.
Well, at
Oh my
first, he's
gosh,
going to have
emo
issues with all
John,
kinds
really?
of
What
shit.
if it's about something else?
You
Yeah,
don't,
What
you don't
if
think
it's down
that
there about
John?
something
What
else?
about the Golden Company? What do y'all think is going on with the Golden Company? Do y'all think that is Harry Strickland? Do you think Aegon and Griff and all them's gonna be on it? Yeah,
I
'cause
don't
they
think. I
really
don't think.
fun. Do y'all think we got?
No.
Do y'all think we got Fagoned?
Oh
No.
man, did I ever? I totally thought he was the real deal reading the
I
books,
do
dude.
too, man. I kind of do. I really do.
I'm like,
Well-
man, was I ever hooked?
Somebody was talking about the sword that
I really-
Harry Strickland has wearing might be is it what's the Blackfire sword?
Fucking Blackfire.
Did it? Okay, thank you.
Introduce that this
It was
lady.
Bitter Steel that had Blackfire, right? There we go. Okay.
Stacey says,
The-
"Where are the elephants? You want to see those fighting
Right.
elephants?"
Oh yeah,
Where's the
Stacey.
dire wolves? How about that?
Fucking sit,
Yeah.
Where's Ghost?
fucking grab the side or something. 'Cause they're all-
Peter said that he was the elephant on the ship.
Oh wow.
She's still on a damn ship. That's not. Man. That's what. That's face.
Forget the
Peter.
elephants. Where's Ghost? That's what I want to know.
Well, shoot.
Those
I,
was there running around. We just didn't see him.
Peter Griffin said,
That's what he was- that's what they said
"That was
last
me,
season, too.
Peter
Oh,
Griffin."
that's what I was laughing at. He's hilarious.
Same with the elephants. Yeah, the elephants are in there too.
I guess they're in the
That's
hall.
probably what the showrunners are going to say. That's what they said last year about Ghost. They're like, oh, yeah, he's there running around after they cut a scene with him.
yeah, they're
They just
Like,
didn't
oh,
want
yeah,
Stacey
Yeah.
said, Ghost is confirmed for season 8. I had heard that as well. So
And I heard George
something in the
say
trailer.
that he wouldn't have brought up the pack of wolves if they weren't intended to be used, like Nymeria and her pack. So
oh wow. He's
what
like
if
the
they
king,
come in and start kicking some whites' asses?
he's the king of the Shaggy Dog story. Ha! Can't trick me.
to.
You can't trick me,
Well,
dude.
Jim, we
we
got
thought we were gonna get Rickon on unicorns and shit. No way.
Rickon doesn't even know how to run from an arrow. So Rickon,
Fool me
you
once.
know-
Well, he brought up himself though, like everybody. That's why everybody hates Catelyn. Remember? Poor
well,
thing.
Osha took better care of him than she did.
And that's your dad. That's your daddy's job. How to like avoid arrows. Whoops!
Ar-
and no
Arya
one was
didn't-
there.
who
Arya
thinks
didn't
Arya
even know that.
might get trapped in Nymeria? If anybody gets trapped in a wolf, I think it would be Arya.
Oh, me too. Totally. I think that's her destiny. Actually,
I think so too, and that would also fit.
What
with
about her going
She
west?
would be the queen of a pack of wolves.
Yeah, no, I
That would
want to
also
go
fit
west
the name of the wolf.
Mhm.
and
The
discover
wolf
another
name.
land. Come on.
Well, in
Nymeria.
the
The
book,
reason I brought that up is because next week we have Arya 1, chapter
yeah.
2. Hey,
Ooh,
Baratheon girl, welcome.
clever Jen.
Oh, we got a Baratheon girl. Hi.
Uh-oh.
We got a Stannis.
Lucky,
Is this the
lucky
Stannis
for
the
us, you missed
Manus?
all the Stannis hate.
We have been talking. That's what we've been talking tonight. Was the prologue of Clash.
She didn't necessarily say that she liked Stannis. She just said she was.
No, I know.
Right. True. So, but the reason I brought up Arya is because next week it's going to be Clash of Kings, Arya 1, chapter 2.
It sounds fantabulous.
And we have a
Yeah.
guest.
I would call it chapter 1.
one more thing you're forgetting from the thing from the trailer. What about Cersei and
Oh, I'm not done talking. I'm just saying.
Okay.
She's just announcing it at the 11 o'clock.
You would
mark,
call
which
it
is
chapter
well done.
1, Brian? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because this is
already a
prologue.
one.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, but in audiobook, it's going to be considered chapter 2, you guys, because they're stupid. We all
drives
know
me
a
nuts.
prologue
Even numbered in
and an epilogue.
No.
It's not
I've had
chapters,
to
but you know how they do.
I've had to go through my books and literally write the numbers in like paper copies because
they're dirty bastards.
Yeah, and my Kindle now that'll give me the chapter number, but that's
right,
and it doesn't count the prologue as a
That
chapter.
is kind of annoying about George
Yeah,
Martin, I must
thank
say.
you.
Like, come on, man. You can do a point of view chapter, that's cool, but what the hell? Why can't you write down a damn chapter name?
For real.
That's annoying. That's really annoying.
Nancy.
Math is not his strong
Bradley
point.
girl
If you
said
haven't noticed.
3:56 a.m. I think she says she's saying Mountain Time, and I'm tipsy. Woo! I'm having a cocktail myself. I've got a vodka cran. It's my third.
Nothing wrong with that.
Maths are hard for Jerry. Leah, you're hilarious. She says maths are hard for GRM. Shit, math is hard for me, bitches.
Me too.
I hate some math.
Yes.
Where are you from, Baratheon girl? She likes our accent.
Okay.
Yes, where y'all? Where are you from? Where?
Because Jen is super southern.
I'm from Alabama. I'm from Alabama.
She said.
Good
night,
night,
Nancy.
Good night, Nancy. I'm from Michigan.
Couple
dang it. I'll show
Yankees.
you where too.
Are you from Kalamazoo?
No, I'm
I had
on
a
this
friend
side.
that moved there.
Okay, there's like Detroit, and I'm right. There.
I'm pretty much in the middle of Alabama. Central. Yeah. A little bit further north than Montgomery, but
Northern England. So tell me, Baratheon girl.
Ooh, I want to go there.
Yeah, I want to go there.
Do you love Stannis?
We were bashing Stannis.
Baratheon girl, I really do want to go to. I think it's.
I'm not a Stannis fan.
And see
this
Lord Admiral
this
Nelson had on
prologue rather clinched it.
I know, super nervous.
He just whined and bitched the whole chapter. That's all he did.
Yeah,
I know.
You king, you mock me by calling me your grace,
and nobody deserves it
which
more
way
than
do
me.
you
It's
want
just
it, dude?
All the Valerians
And
the
also, how clueless was he that he didn't know that all those kids were bastards? If he served for 15 years on his council.
He knew.
Really?
He knew.
You know, nobody knew, though, to be fair. And then the people who did know, it was in their best interest not to. Because I think
John Aaron figured it out, and so
John Aaron
yeah,
figured it out.
He had been hanging with Stannis, so.
Yeah, they knew. Stannis
yeah,
knew.
Baratheon girl, the Stannis is hilarious because he's dry as fuck.
Yeah.
So's his wife. Oh,
boom.
Yeah, we all like. I like him the way he's portrayed, and I think
called her a fugly rabbit.
Really well by that actor. Me and Lady Lordaine were talking about earlier. He's in Spy Game, and he plays a douchebag in Spy Game too, like a hater.
Oh God! See, I like Stephen Delane. I like him.
I think he's a fine actor. Like I said, I preferred him in
the show.
Yeah, and that's why when everybody like in the fandom, at least that loves Stannis, were like, "Oh, he's so terrible in the show," and I was like, "Wow," because I thought he was halfway a decent person in the show. In the books, I just remember not caring for him at all, and this was another clincher because I was like, "Sheesh, I do not like him." No, sir.
It's like treating your grandfather like he's treating Crescent, or I just don't get it. Or your own father, really, not your grandfather.
And the other thing is too,
old,
if your end game is to take over the whole kingdom, why can't you truce with your brother and then fight it out after?
Right.
You know what I mean? Or
join with the Starks.
Yeah, with the Starks too.
Like Mr. Crescent was trying to tell him, after you avenge his father and say, to the whole kingdom, he was no traitor. This was bullshit.
Yeah.
He would probably be happy to go back to just being Lord Stark.
See, but you know what? But
probably true.
But Stannis is so black and white that, if he confessed in front of everybody, it didn't matter, then he must have been a traitor. Like, that's how black and white he is.
Right. And it's too much. You can't be that way.
I can't. He's not my fave. So it's cool. Like, if only I saw, like, the humor in him when I was reading it, because I didn't. I missed that humor. Baratheon girl. I totally missed it.
I got it. I liked it. Especially in the show.
In the books?
No, I get his humor in the books too. He's just a trip with himself, though.
Yeah, but okay, so what was funny? This
entitlement.
What was this funny? What was so funny in this? Like, I thought he was just whereas I thought he was cruel, and that was something that the Maester said. Like, well, he was never cruel. Like, he didn't get mockery, so he never did it. Like, he was just black and white.
Yeah.
See, I've always thought, in my opinion, when I read the books, I always thought that Stannis was like a little bit Asperger's, maybe autistic, like on that side. Like,
he is very
autism makes sense though, because he doesn't like any human interaction
he's
at
very
all.
single. In my opinion, I would think that because he's so single-minded.
And you know what?
To bend in any way, shape, or form, he is the king because he is the next in line by right, by God. And he's not willing to bend. That single-mindedness is very much a trait sometimes.
It makes sure that everyone bends the knee. Like, there is no compromise. Like, no, I can't. My brother declared himself king, therefore he's a traitor. Oh, sorry,
right, and that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Listen, y'all, we're at the 10 o'clock. We're at the 10 o'clock, and we know everybody stops what they're doing to come. So
thanks, guys.
Y'all know me. I'm Jen, Lady Wolverton. We do a chapter a week, every week, 8 o'clock Central. Please like and subscribe. I do have Patreons. We are small and proud. Everything that I get on Patreon gets to pay for internet and better equipment, etc., and maybe computer lessons, maybe. And,
hey, the dog show did an OBS tutorial. I don't know if you've seen it.
And look, and I'm going to utilize that one.
No, I told him what you said about the Hangouts, and he didn't know that. And now he's trying to figure out about streaming on OBS. And I told him to talk to you guys, you and Ree, because y'all hadn't figured all that shit out.
That's awesome.
I did it right there.
I see where that was there.
I don't have to pretend like I don't know something I know. It's, it's fine to not know, but I'm always trying to do better, be better, and have better.
Mm-hmm.
So, no, I don't know, but I'm going to learn. Watch. Bet against me. I dare you.
I will not.
No,
I will not.
All right, Bram, why don't you take us out and give shout outs?
Yeah.
I don't know if I have.
Well, we'll pipe in if we think you missed somebody.
But I got the Fearless Mermaid, Matt, Peter Griffin, Lady Dreamfire, Cameo, Maya 27, AU Pack Mule, Terry P, Nancy P, AGoT Fleming. I'm not sure if I'm saying that.
Owen.
Yeah.
We've learned that is pronounced Owen, and we're welcome to the chat. This is the first time I've noticed you in book club. Welcome.
Yeah.
Everybody's welcome. Nobody's right or wrong here. We're all going to agree to disagree because when it all comes down to it, we don't know.
That's true.
LMR, Dog Show, Cardinal Doomsday, That Baratheon Girl, and I don't think I missed anyone, but
Matt.
I may have.
Matt Bassivic.
Matt?
I'm not sure what that stands for.
Matt. I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name either, but I know it's Matt.
And Peter Griffin.
Peter Griffin.
Yeah, I got those.
Oh, did you get him? Sorry.
He did.
Okay. Good
Thanks,
job,
guys.
Rand.
It was super
Good
awesome.
job, Bran. Okay, Bran, you go first. Everybody take yourself out. Say goodbye. Unplug yourself, etc.
Well, goodbye, you guys.
And
See you
plug
next
yourself.
week when Aria comes.
Yes.
What I
Aria
meant
won.
was tell where you can be found. Y'all, there's a link to Brandon's Facebook right in the
Yeah,
description.
Facebook's in the description. I'm on Amino, but I really haven't been on there in like a week.
You've lost your streak, Bran.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That's how I'm almost
I'm
on
not a
level.
Lord anymore because I haven't been keeping up with my amino.
I'm almost to level 12 on Game of Thrones.
I need to put it on my phone, so I make sure I do it.
I just made a Dorn quiz.
Fucking crocheting.
I did a Dorn quiz, and I'm working on a quiz for the last chapter from the Game of Thrones book. I don't know what made me want to do that. I'm sorry, Brian. Go ahead.
Hey, but cool that you are doing that. Kerri, you take us out. Kerri's email is in the description. You can also find her on Facebook, as I know, and also on Instagram as Aries Girl. And I think
I changed it. It's McDonald Kerri 29 now.
Oh, is it? Shit.
Or Kerri McDonald 29. It's one or the other. I'm not sure. I think it's Kerri McDonald 29.
She's on there, and her email is in the description.
Y'all
You
get in touch with me.
she'll email you. I think.
What I wanted to say thank you to the folks in the community for being so sweet and like worrying about me, like Dog and Kev and other people were like, "Where have you been? Where have you been?" And I was like,
"Sure were the other day. I want to make you stress." And I'm sorry, I was.
Thank you guys. No,
I wasn't.
You knew I was sick. I did.
Such
a nice, such a great community of people. It just
not to say anything, but I guess I should have said that I had texted with you that day and you were okay.
No,
but at first I wasn't sure they was talking about you, and then nobody asked me like directly.
I just want to say it because I think it's such a great community. You know what I mean? That people. Actually, Kev was like, "Dog, go on Dog's chat right now." So I don't know if he was one of. I know AU messaged me privately, and then Dog might have been the other one that was asking about me. So I'm not sure, but I just appreciate it.
A lot of people asked, and I'm not a bad friend. I just didn't know what I should say.
Did I say anything, girl?
It made me feel bad, like that I didn't say anything or whatever.
No, that's not my intention. I
don't know, but I didn't know what to like. I knew you were okay, but at first I wasn't sure they were talking about you because I just didn't know.
Well, how many Kerris as great as me are there? I mean,
none.
Thank you, Moni.
I'm
kidding.
But nobody said your last name. All righty, Liz. This is our Midwestern girl who's living in the North.
All right.
Hey, 21 Pilots are from Ohio.
No, it was great tonight. I feel y'all on Stannis, and anyone, all my links are in the description, and you can talk with me on Twitter or on Tumblr or answer my core questions and talk to me about the trailer. I am always up to debate all of it and why I think John is not going to ride a dragon.
Not any more dragons, anyways.
Yeah. That too. So yeah, it was great. Ready for next week.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay, Moni. This is my redhead mentor.
Hey, I'm Moni G. You can call me anything, just not late to supper. Yeah, you can always rock on Shaka Khan. You can find me here on Thursday nights because you can message me on like the little YouTube little message thing, like, so that's how Rhea and I talk.
Yeah.
I need a link for you. All you got to do is hang out me what you want me to put. I swear to God.
No, because like if somebody links me and I don't, then it would make me it would make me unsocial. Caw.
I don't. Okay.
So anyways,
email. Yeah.
No, yeah, because I wouldn't want to like ignore y'all, and I would. So,
honest, we like that plain speaking. It's like we got Sir Davos or Stannis on with us tonight.
Here I am.
No, don't. I'm not on Facebook or no shit like that because I don't want to ignore your ass more than I probably already will.
Yeah, so I'm not. Yeah, I love
Oh,
you
I've
guys,
got-
and I don't. So I don't want to do that. No.
All right, we won't put no social media pressure on you. All right, Reed.
Sorry, man.
Florida girl with a heart of gold and a Targaryen expert.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that's yeah. Hey, I'm here.
That's
And,
Heart of fire.
huh?
Heart of fire. Then.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Arr.
Oh yeah, I can't do that. And yeah, and I get really mad about the lemon thing too because that really bugs me. There's no damn lemons or bravos. It's impossible. I'm telling you.
Dorn.
It just works. Yeah, so I'm here and I'm over on my channel. Eventually Jen's gonna get ready for the Jamie thing and we'll do that over there.
No, I am. I never will go on something looking like somebody who doesn't know what they're trying to say or talk about it.
Yeah.
Just every Jamie chapter before we do it. What, Fred?
You don't want to go looking unprepared, you know. You want to be ready.
Yeah, I don't want to look stupid. Yeah, thank you.
I think I said that earlier to somebody. I don't want to look dumb tonight, so I got some
Well,
Right?
got some studying to do.
So we'll be doing that soon and we got some other stuff that we're doing soon. I'm moving like this weekend, Sunday, Monday, something like that.
Girl, you're like a turtle.
and look, all of us are trying to go to Con. I have my tickets. Bree has her tickets. Brian has his ticket.
About to buy mine.
The other
I know,
three
me
are
too,
going to
Karen.
I
go
got the
and-
money. I just want to find the cheapest place to get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
you an email, Carrie.
I know. I
We're gonna have,
got
like,
it.
an
Thank
Okay.
you. I
party
sent you a reply.
for Patreons and for book panel member and just people no, I'm just kidding. If you want to have a drink with any of us, we'll meet you in the bar and it'll be on. It's cool.
Oh yeah.
It ain't no exclusive.
We'll be flittering around everywhere.
I'm Jennifer Wolverton on Messenger. If you're going to Con and you want to meet up, message me and we will.
You can't. You probably won't be able to miss us.
Right.
Ain't that
You
the truth?
try.
There'll be the loud bitches over in the corner.
Yeah. If you don't have anything nice to say, then come sit by me.
Loud ass redhead over in the corner.
Mm,
That guy.
Nobody puts baby in a corner, honey.
Nobody.
Robert loves that line.
Right?
That's
God.
Teflon's favorite movie. Since you bring that, you know, I know
Yep.
that as just from
That's
watching
true.
the show, and you just brought that up. So, Dirty
Very
Teflon's favorite movie. Shout out to you, Tony Teflon. All right.
I know. Who is also a Stannis the Manus lover.
Is he really?
And that's okay if you are a Stannis the Manus lover. I get it. And with
Hey,
that, I'm going to see y'all next Thursday, 8 o'clock Central. It's going to be Clash of Kings, Aya 1, Chapter
Yeah.
1.
There's somebody in the world for everybody.
That's
Somebody's
right.
gotta love Stannis.
I don't get it. Please come
Bye,
back.
everybody.
Night.
Thanks for coming.
Good night.
Bye.